guess we're getting ghosted out there. I hope some of your friends are still with us. It doesn't show that. I don't know. Maybe y'all left us. I'm sorry to start late, everyone. I don't blame you. I don't know. That's on me. But welcome anyway to CLOBBERIN Times, issue number 293 on YouTube, 993 overall. So it's good to see you all, my friends. I hope you're all still here. Of course, with us, as always, on CLOBBY'S Clubhouse Night, my wonderful first officer, RM Commander Briggs. Hey. Whee! Exactly.
And I wouldn't worry too much about the head count. It's kind of a screwball-y. When we were doing Saturday Night Star Trek, I noticed that we were jumping from 24 to 34 and 24 to 34 just intermittently for no reason. So I wouldn't trust the count right now. Things are a little screwy.
I guess. 3 people? I mean, I thought we had more than that, but
we gotta have more than 3, and maybe multiple man is in there.
Showed a lot more.
Girl, dual damsel.
I don't know, but whoever is there, thank you for being here. I'll start calling you out, but first, of course, our chief engineer, Mark D. Welcome, bro.
Here, welcome. Thank you for having me. Always look forward to Thursday nights.
I love me some Thursday nights at the clubhouse. I do. And we have some friends here. We'll shout them out real quickly. J-Man, I hope you're still here, bro. He has a great channel. Please go check his channel out. And he is a cool friend, and it is good to see you, buddy.
Love that guy. That's a good guy.
Minimus put something in the chat like last night at night, so I don't know if it counts, but Minimus is there. He's not here now, of course. Hungry Boy, or AKA Hungry for Common Sense and Comics again. You're going to be starving for a while.
That's a cheeky one. That's a good one. That's a very cheeky good one.
Indeed. Snortopoopus.
Cuba.
Pop Culture Republic. Hello. Decepticon. What's up, buddy? Decepticon 77. Good to see you there, Sean.
I love that human. Decepticon is one of the kindest people on the internet, and he's smart and funny and totally cool. Also, Pop Culture Republic, did you send Clobby your address for me to send you your prize? Look, there's Chris Persia.
If he did, he'll have to let me know. The great Chris Persia. What's up? I have my chat stopped. Chris, good to see you there, brother. Always a pleasure. Kal-El, buddy. Hey.
The real Superman.
The real Superman. I'll see you. Superman.
And sub to Decepticon, I just put his link in there, and J-Men's as well.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Decepticon. Sean, good to see you there. You guys had a fun topic the other night when you were on with J-Man and Sean and Steven over there. That was pretty cool. But it was 6, the lovely 6. Good to see you there, lovely lady.
Gorgeous. Nice to see you. Thank you for stopping in. Thank you for joining us.
You sent me an email. I will look for it, Pop Culture. Thank you.
Yay.
Need a heads up on those emails, right?
I'm terrible about looking for emails. And anyone else who pops in, I definitely will acknowledge him first. I will have our wonderful first officer tell you about her works of fiction, as in science. Please do the honors, number one.
Well, thank you so much, Clobby, for using your space to promote my stuff. Folks, I'm a science fiction author, and I could sure use your support. If you like science fiction short stories, please check me out on Amazon. You can download my stories. They're just e-stories for now because I'm an indie artist, an indie author. And so, all you have to do is go to Amazon and type in RM Briggs, and you can download my stories onto any device. You can also get it through Kindle.
Absolutely. The great Your Muslim Uncle is here. Says, hey, hail from the road. Well, hail to you on the road, sir, and please stay safe out there. Mazarus.
Hey, Mazarus. Nice
Hello
to
there,
see you.
Mazarus. Great to see you. Great to see you. And, of course, we're always happy to see the magnificent Bronze Wrencher.
Oh, there he is.
Eric K.
With that wrench strategically placed because he doesn't want to make other men feel bad.
He's the man. What she said.
You're saying that's a really long surfboard?
It is a very long surfboard, and Pop Culture Republic is talking about getting a PO box. Yeah, Pop Culture Republic. I just learned that you guys aren't allowed to have general delivery in the United States. That's cray. Because of course here you can have anything you want delivered to whatever post office general delivery that you want. Whoop. Yeah, so I'm sorry if I'm forcing you to get a PO box. I just naturally assumed, because our countries are so much alike, that you would be able to send yours general delivery wherever you wanted as well. So I'm sorry for any inconvenience, but I am super excited to send you something good.
Basically, what she means is they don't have to pay for those misunderstanding. There's 6 up there in her way in the Great Canada North. They don't have to pay for a post office box as we do.
Well,
Yep.
you can get like a dedicated post office box, but there's really no point up here because you can accept if you register with a post office here, they will actually send you a message letting you know that you've received a delivery, and then you can go and get it. So if you're frightened of the internet or you don't want people to know where you live, you can literally drive clear across town to go and pick up your package from whomever, and it just goes general delivery to that post office, and it has a special number. So I just assumed you guys had that too, so I hope it's not a huge inconvenience for you to get a PO box, and I'm super excited to send you a cool present.
I'm just looking at it, that they might be able to do it. You can ship something, hold for pickup option. They might charge you for it, but there might be a way to do it. But yeah, it's
Yeah.
not as convenient as Canada. Yep. So you guys
Well,
are
here
definitely
we
better
even
at
have
us
an
in some
app,
days. Yep,
believe it
some
or
ways,
not,
yep.
Mark. Here we even have an app where you can actually, when you send something, you can actually choose whichever post office you want as your return address or your receiving address.
Nice. Yep.
Yeah, so
There you go.
anyway, it's still going to be cool. I'm going to send it to you. Just hopefully it
Yeah.
doesn't cost too
Yep.
much money for your PO box. Sorry about that, Pop Culture Republic.
Indeedishness. Absolutely. So, show notes, my friends, coming up on CLOBBERIN. Let's see here. Of course, Saturday Night Star Trek is here at the extraordinary special time of, well, the same time as always. Saturday, same Trek time, same Trek channel. They have 4 more episodes. Although one's a 2-parter, it can still be 4 parts. And I don't know why. I'm so excited, but I am. Because I'm always
Star trekking across
the universe.
Dave G. Sound, welcome.
Welcome, Dave G. Sound. And again, I guess I'm excited because I love Saturday Night Star Trek. We have a blast doing it every week and had a wonderful time last week. And we'll so again this week at same Trek time, same Trek channel, Saturday night. And then Monday night, Mark C. Comics Talk. I'm joined in this corner by the great Mark D. with a C, as we will have it out in the ring with the champion, the greatest fighter in all of the universe, his opponents, the entire bunch of the Marvel's best heavy hitters out there in Marvel 2-in-1 Annual 7, the Great Classic by Tom DeFalco and Ron Wilson and 50 other inkers. So this is one of our favorite older stories from our mutual favorite character, Mark D and mine. Our favorite character of the Thing in Marvel 2-in-1 Annual, the last annual they did. And it'll be CLOBBY'S Classics Comic Review, which I'll be doing that at least once to twice a month. A classic comic, whether it's a single issue story or a saga, whatever. I'll be reviewing comics all year round. As we started a couple of weeks ago with the Mr. MVP, Max von Breesley. With the Superman story, Whatever Happened to the Man of Tomorrow, a couple of weeks back. Jim Hayes, good to see you there, brother.
Hey!
Always a pleasure, buddy. And so I'm looking forward to this one.
That's going to be awesome. Yep. That's a great issue. God, that's one of my all-time favorite comics. I think the first time I read it 2 or 3 times over, just like going to rewind this again. It's just so good. So it's actually hanging up on my wall behind me.
That's right. I've seen it back there. It is a classic. It is absolutely one of the most.
It's hanging out behind my. That's my right shoulder. Your left, I guess. Yeah, on the wall.
I beg your pardon, gentlemen. I just want to interject because I'm on this stupid Firefox tonight, not Chrome, so I can't highlight the comment, and I don't want it to go too far. Chris. Can you do me a favor, Chris Persia? Would you please go on your phone and download the Canada Post app? you can set it up from there, and then you can literally choose whichever post office you want. I've even been prompted by the app to switch post office, whichever one I want, whenever I want, even when things are en route. So make sure you download the Canada Post app to your phone, and you can set that all up, and it's easy peasy, fresh and breezy. You get a little map, there's a little pin on it, you just poke the pin and away you go. That's where your package is going, and then you just produce identification at that particular location. And it means that you don't need a PO box. So rock and roll, Chris.
Indeed. Continuing the show notes, folks. February 9th of Wednesday, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time, the 1000th episode of Clobbering Time. So we're celebrating episode 1000, folks. We're going to have many guest stars, and it's going to be fun. So I hope.
You're darn right it's going to be fun.
I'm hoping we're going to have a good time with that. We're going to have as many people as we can stop by throughout the course of the day. It'll be a long show, so it'll be going on the whole damn day. So
it's going to be great.
Looking forward to it. So
maybe the thing will even show up, folks.
We might. Dad man, what's up, buddy?
Hello, you marvelous family. Mwah, mwah, mwah.
What up?
We're playing some late night Fortnite last night. Had some wins. It was fun.
Yeah?
Yep.
Nice.
This is won a few games, and we won a game. Yep. So it was fun time. Yep. So if you ever have nothing to do late at night, sometimes really late at night, check us out. We might be playing Fortnite. Keep it company.
I did this week.
Yep. Thank you.
I went in, and Dad man, you were driving a car, and Dad man got out of the car, and Dad man went into like this hut, and he's like, just wait a second. He's like, Mark, can you wait a minute? And you're like, oh yeah, sure, no problem. So you pull the car over, and Dad man gets out, and he's like, I just want to check and see if there's anything inside this house. So he walks into the house, and he's trying to pick stuff up, and but then I left immediately, because you all know I'm a nerd. I don't game.
Yeah,
I'm not a geek.
not
I don't know anything about gaming.
Well,
but it was
nerds game. By the way, I don't. But
yeah,
I've never met a nerd who games. I don't mind watching the games.
A lot of nerds do. They just do it from a PC instead of a console. 6. That will be 2 p.m. February 9th.
Nice.
But yeah, no, I think that. I mean, don't you know nerds that game, Mark? I mean, don't nerds?
Oh, sure, yeah, definitely, yeah.
I've never met a nerd who games. All my nerd friends read.
They're hiding it.
Are you hiding it?
You could hide it, and then you could do both. You could read Endgame if you want to. If you got the time, you could make the time for it. Lovely Sherry, good to see you.
Hey, Chicky, how are you?
Did you ever play any Star Trek games, Raquel? Electronic, computer games?
And my ship in Calgary. My shipmates, they all play a wonderful version of Star Trek, and it's like a team endeavor where it's almost as though you are experiencing the whole thing together. I'm not sure what the setup is. They've invited me.
Star Trek times. Bridge Crew, or that's something we should do one night for fun.
I believe that's what it's called.
Yeah, so you can have 4 people on the bridge. So Clobby could be the captain, I can be the engineer. You can be the first officer. We can get a communications officer in here. You can all control the ship and go on missions. So
yeah,
Kyle says
4 people together.
Most nerds code games. Sometimes some play them, but mostly also they're definitely the coders are nerds. And Six says she's a nerd and she's bad at it. Well, I'm a geek and I'm bad at it. So there you go.
Nerds love to make fun of the fact that we're not coordinated and we're not good at that sort of thing. Six. So yeah, I totally agree. Six, you know what I really enjoyed? I really enjoyed playing Prince of Persia with my husband, because the Prince of Persia was a thinking game that was all about puzzles, trying to rediscover how they set the game up and where they hid everything. And so I would sit and watch, and I would be like, okay, definitely grab onto that rock. That's the way to go up. Look how it's a different color than the other rocks. And then he just scoot all the way up. And we did the same thing with the original God of War. So the Prince of Persia is fun for the puzzles. If you have someone who will do all the first person fighting and killing and blood and gore and guts, you could just direct them and show them how to get through the puzzle. And especially God of War, because, with God of War, when you get to the big thing that you have to turn, the big thing in the middle of the city that you have to turn, the big wheel, you have to go back like 4 or 5 levels. And I remembered the exact spot it was. And my husband was like, hooray! So the puzzle aspects are fun, but you do need a hired killer to go with you. Perhaps Mark or my husband or someone else who's a really good hired killer.
Well, I would think you would like adventure games, like some of the games actually. The first games I played were text adventures, like the InfoWar game, or what was it? Zork 1, Zork 2.
Yeah,
remember the text games, and of course, then they had the first one of the first really good graphic adventures was King's Quest, created by who was it was a husband and wife that created that. I'm drawing a blank on the name, but it was, it's kind of like a story. So you're in the story, and then you're, should I go left, right? And there's all kinds of puzzles you have to figure out to, save the princess and open the doors. And of course,
I like that kind of stuff.
There was a Star Wars game, really famous, Star Trek game that was really famous. It was a text adventure too. That was a ton of fun. Simon and Schuster. Excuse me. And years later, I met one of my friends now, actually, also named Mark with a C, so he spells his name correctly. We joke about that. And he was actually the publisher at Simon & Schuster. I'm like, I had all those games, so I'm trying to remember the name of it. It was like almost like reading a book. It was more of an adventure, but the graphics were really cool on the book that you got, and the packaging. And when you play the game, of course, it's the graphics back in the late 80s, early 90s. They're not so good, but it was just you were in that Star Trek world, so you're really
Mark, I would be interested in playing that game that my actual Starfleet people play. I'm not sure what it's called, but if you want to look into it, I would definitely be open to trying that, because that's another one of those I don't want to sound patronizing, but I like the intellectual part of it. Like, I like the problem solving part of it. Yep. And I'm sure there's lots of that in lots of different games. So I don't want to sound like I'm patronizing people.
Yeah. No, I hear. Yeah. You're not a first person shooter kind of person, but
I'm not. And I'm also I can't hold a controller and go scoop it all the way around and then hit BXR14 to do this specific thing. I'm not good at that kind of stuff. But your Muslim uncle. Parrothead. Your Muslim uncle just said something in the chat that I think is a really cool thing. He said VR. And I think that I might like something VR related if it were like Caprica. If we could go somewhere and have a Star Trek experience through VR, I think I would actually buy that Oculus. Is it Oculus Rift?
Well, that's what the Bridge Crew is a VR game, but you can play it on your PC. But it's also available in VR. So that was the big selling feature, because then you're sitting down, you put the headset on, and then you're on the bridge of I think it's a TNG bridge. But you're on the bridge of the Enterprise, or maybe you can play TOS. I'm going to Google it right now.
Claude is here. There's Claude.
I think it's like $20. It's on Steam.
Oliver.
Let me look it up.
Hey, Oliver Belamonte and Mr. Parrish.
Oliver. You can call him Claude. He likes that.
Oh, good. Okay, Claude. Mark, can I ask, how much does that headset thingamabobby cost?
Well, they range. They range all the way from cheaper ones. I think about $300. To all the way to like $1,000, but I think you can get into it for about $300. There's let's see which one does this support? This supports. Let me put the link in the chat here so everyone can look at it if they want. Well, I'm looking at it.
That's a very good idea.
Do you want me to share the screen or fun, or you want it? If you guys want to look at it, I can. You want to share the screen? Yep.
Dadman Walking 55 says, I understand the fear of controllers, Raquel. My kids got sick of hearing me complain. I'm from a generation of a joystick and a button. Dadman, Yeah, you know, I really liked the big buck hunter. I didn't mind playing that big buck hunter. There wasn't too much blood and gore in that one, and it was mostly just like a target practice kind of thing. Joystick and button, or one of like those air gun thingies, and there's not too much blood and guts. I'm all in. But have you seen the patterns that some of these people play? Like, you know, like when I see the kids play the Dragon, I think it's called Dragon Ball Z, they go left, then they move, like with their left hand, they go left, then down, then right. And at the same time, they do go like circle X, R1. And that does something in the game and stuff. And they're like, well, can't you do that? And I'm like, no. No, I can't do that.
Parrothead, to answer your question, Mark D is the chief engineer. Yeah,
try to keep the ship rolling. Yep.
That's a great question to ask, Parrothead. Long time no see. I hope you're in Margaritaville. You better be in Margaritaville.
Not wasting away though.
No, you don't want to be wasting away, honey. No. But Parrothead would never waste away.
Yeah. Oh, well, this is a cool mode. Resistance. The board cube tracks your ship, and you got to defend. Oh, that's
yeah,
cool.
see, if I were playing something like this, and, you know, and Clobby was our captain, do you know how much fun we would have?
That's awesome, yep. So
how many people in the chat have played this thing that Mark is bringing up here? Because your Muslim uncle broached this. I think it's terrific that he brought this up. How many of you have played with this VR stuff? And have any of you played the Star Trek Bridge Crew?
I see filth.
I do see filth.
Yeah, but you have to do the Next Generation DLC. You don't want to use that one.
Filth.
No.
Yeah, but it's not the
Can't have that on the
story.
screen.
Sorry. Checking the prices.
Cannot have filth on this show ever. You should know, but that's worse than doxing.
Yeah. Well, they do have the next gen, so.
Claude says, I like the old arcade deer hunting games where blood filled the screen when you made the shot.
Yeah, those were good.
Oh, man, I love you, but there's no way I could actually participate in that.
Well, this is the, I don't want to show the, play it, but we'll just skip through. So this is the Bridge Crew. But I think, unfortunately, they had the 2000 and the ship we won't name. But here we got this ship here. Look how cool that is, right?
That's nice. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, see, Clobby and I could do this because all we would have to do is reach our fingers out and do what we were supposed to do.
Yeah,
and Pop Culture
So it's like it's supposed to be
VR.
VR. So you can play it without VR on your PlayStation, and I know it's also available on Steam.
Yep.
So the idea is like
Kal-El just said it might be acceptable if one can command their own ship and destroy the filth Enterprise ship and crew. Hear, hear. Hail, Kal-El.
Chili Chow, roll tide. Now, Kal-El, that's something I would just want to do over and over again. Hell with the rest of the game.
Yeah. So look how cool it is if you're sitting there on the bridge like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's really expensive,
VR,
but when I can afford it, when I can afford it, I will definitely dive in and do that with you because, and wow, imagine if Clobby and I could do that. You just reach out with your fingers and you touch display view screen
so cool.
or lock on target or,
It's very cool. Yep.
Look at that, unassigned repair crew because you have to send them to a different area of the ship because something's wrong. Your Muslim uncle has played the Oculus 2.
Wow.
Nice.
Wow.
So yes, folks, I would be able to play this, I think, because,
Love it. That's amazing.
Very
cool.
It
looks pretty cool. And the other game that was really good, Rick, I think you would like would be Star Trek 25th Anniversary.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Good story on this one. So this one, you can still, I'll just show images. Let me do images. But this is a really good game. So you're on the bridge here, and you can play all the the different characters. It's a great adventure. So you're communicating. So it's an adventure game. So it's not really a shoot 'em up. You're trying to. It's a puzzle, and you're trying to go through the story and figure,
see, I would
and
be
figure
into
things
that,
out.
right?
You would
If
love
not,
this
I'll
game.
just
Yeah.
stay on my Scrabble app.
Yeah. But the great thing is these are all on Steam now, so you can play these on Steam on your PC. And it's
PC.
well, or Mac. Some
Is
Mac.
it
Some
made
of
for
these
Mac?
games will work on Mac. Some of them you can play on Steam through the Mac. You just have to. Not as many games, though, I have to say. But I mean, this game is so old that you play it on like today you wouldn't need much of a PC to play this, but I'll send you one just so you can play this game. I mean, it's not like it doesn't take any horsepower.
It doesn't take very much. Yeah.
Yeah, this is how I got
I
still have this. Yeah.
Oh, wow. So Hungry Boy says that would be cool, Raquel, if it was about using the controls to find new life forms and attempt to communicate. Yeah, and that problem solving aspect of it. And, it's okay if I have to fire phasers, if I have to fire photon torpedoes, but just even going through the motions of the delegation and getting sort of into that role play, that does appeal to me, Hungry Boy, far more than murdering and slaughtering people in a first-person shooter game. I'm totally uninterested in that. And your Muslim uncle says that the music was really good on this one.
Oh yeah, it was a fantastic game. Like there was a puzzle in here. I remember in this where you had to do certain things to get this laser not to shoot you, and you had to manipulate the controls. But it's not like an action control. It's more like controlling a puzzle. So you're it's not like you don't need crazy reflexes. But it was the graphics were kind of cute, and it was a lot of fun. Really,
I'm not really into the shooter games either that much. I kind of like the old Spider-Man games, some of the old Batman games, the one where you get to be a superhero and you're fighting, not so much like just running around shooting people and stuff. But that's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's, I like them both, but there's something about these games that I just
these are great.
Really, really.
Or flying
Florida
ships,
Poopus says, I still prefer the tabletop RPGs, old school bear.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
Nothing wrong with that. He plays the
and
tabletop
Pop Culture
RPG
says,
games, yeah.
wow, floppy disks? That sure dates that game.
Yeah. People still go to those, still play those big old war games on tabletop board games that you still got all these game stores where they still do that stuff. It's huge. And at cons and everything. Yeah.
Well, Clubby, I love board games. I absolutely love board games, and
board games are great too.
Yeah, the board game area of the con is always cool. Like I always make sure I walk through the gamer pavilion. I like to see the finals of the gamer contests, especially if there's a lot of money on the line. But I love the gaming tables and just watching people play tabletop games, and I guess that wouldn't be called tabletop game. That would be a board.
No, it's
game,
a little bit different, but board games, and there's the tabletop games where they got all the figurines and all the sets and all the stuff like that, which are a lot of people, the board games and stuff like that, which are very popular as well.
FASA game. Oh, I love playing these with my friends. So the FASA games are. Yeah. I think LT was saying he played this game too. So it was Star Trek, the role playing game, and they also had Star Trek. They had like Starship Combat Simulator, so you could do this. So you had they had all the figures. They had all the lead figures, and then some people are painting them too. Like here's a picture of. So I still have some of these ships on my shelf over there, so you could buy all the ships. Then you'd play, and then you had all these missions, kind of like a D&D, but it was a board game, FASA board game. It was just so much fun. Yeah, it's just I still have some of these games, and you'd have missions with like not exactly like D&D, but somewhat like D&D.
Yeah.
And,
well, see, I would be into that.
Super
you know
fun.
what I mean? Yeah, I would totally be into that. That seems worthwhile
really
to me.
Cool.
Yeah.
It was really,
Not
really
that I'm
well done.
disparaging people who like to play the first-person shooter games and stuff like that. I've heard that it's I've read a lot of scientific papers on the fact that, especially during the vid, people have found those types of games, those first-person shooter games where they get to be on teams and stuff and go on missions together, that they have found it incredibly therapeutic and especially for people who are isolating. So I don't want to disparage or fairly characterize gamers. I have lots of respect for gamers. That's just not something I'm into. I'd rather read a book and and maybe play Scrabble. But I still think it's incredibly cool and
Absolutely.
really
Absolutely.
neat.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. And then like here, this is one of the board. We always get off on fun tangents here. But this was one of my first text games that I played, Star Trek: The Kobayashi Alternative. So this is a Simon and Schuster game, like I was saying. So it's really just it's all text, but you're like in the story. I mean, so but there's really no graphics to it. But back when did this come out? What year is it? 85? Yeah, so 85.
I knew someone who had a used Commodore 64, but they did not have the Star Trek Kobayashi alternative.
Yeah,
they had
so
Burger Time.
I mean, it's all
Burger
text.
Time. Hey, I like Burger Time.
all text, yeah. So here's then the other one that was out that was I'm trying to like real old school because I'm old. So here, let's semi-old. Let's see here. And this was the other one, the Simon and Schuster game. See, the cover to this is gorgeous. See that cover there?
Mark, you're making everyone in the chat feel old. Poor Kal-El. He's feeling ancient. And so is our Snortapoop.
Sorry.
Everyone is feeling 7 million years old. You're all Methuselahs, all of you.
Yeah. So
It's okay,
don't watch
so
the Deadly Years tonight. Yeah.
Yeah, don't watch the Deadly Years tonight.
But the stories are great, and it's not is the game there's no real graphics. It's a text, obviously it's a text adventure, but then you're into the characters and you're just having fun, and back then and you sometimes you'd buy it, you're like, oh, I'm gonna get this really cool graphics, and it's like, oh, actually there's no graphics there. It's and then this was I'm just picking out the Simon and Schuster one, so I had this one. The Rebel Universe, and I think this one had some basic graphics in it. Yeah, so this one never really ran right. It was always crashing. But it was 87. Yep. I wish they had some pictures.
Snortapoopus is saying he's changing his name to Methuselah Cuber. Honey, I will still do your thing for you. I promise. And Decepticons come back into
I remember
the chat.
this.
Yeah,
got a
right.
big long one. What's this one? What does this one say?
Digging through my comics recently, I ran across an issue of Marvel's Quest Probe featuring Human Torch and Thing, long forgotten video game Marvel tie-in with the creator of the adventure text games. I remember that. I don't think I bought it, Sean, but I remember those. Wow.
I love Decepticon. He's so wonderful.
Yes.
He knows so much about geekery.
Absolutely.
I love it. Dadman Walking says, Raquel, my daughter asked me to play Fortnite when the poop downs started because I had nothing else to do. It really helped. Yeah, Dadman, that's what I've been hearing. I've been hearing, as you know, I study social science. And so, yeah, that's what I was hearing, that a lot of people not only found like friendships there, but it was just a way to shut off their mind. So rather than relishing in the violence, they could actually just shut that aspect of it off because, the chittity chat and meeting with everyone and hanging out with everyone. So that is really wonderful, isn't it? That people were able to connect that way. It makes me really happy.
No, it was really good. And then I've met so many new friends now through YouTube and the Twitterverse, and when we couldn't go to cons anymore. And actually, I think obviously we met more people. At cons you maybe would get lucky and meet some people, but and stay in touch. But this has been fantastic to hang out with everyone and make new friends and share ideas. And I always look forward to the show, and like I can share how old these old games from the 80s that I remember trying to play. And you know, it's just such a great great community. And yeah, we're getting old, some of us, but we got some younger people here too, right? That'll laugh
Well,
if they
you're
try to
not
play this game in two
Kryptonian
colors.
age like Kal-El.
Yeah,
Kal-El is
right.
Kryptonian age. He's reminding us.
Yeah.
And there are a couple of questions in the chat, fellas. Your Muslim uncle has a wonderful question for Clobby.
I never played that one for like once. I think maybe a total of once to 2 or 3 times. Some friends of mine had me back in the 80s sit down and play the DC version or one of the DC games. I actually do have some gaming modules though, because I have the Watchmen ones because I collected everything to do with Watchmen, and I have the Legion of Superhero ones for, well, same reason. But I never was much of a role-playing gamer, I got to admit. I mean, I sold a lot of those and a lot of friends who were in them though. Into them, but I never did myself, but I respect them greatly, and know a lot of people loved them and stuff. And Oliver, what's Oliver says, Clubby and Mark, Raquel, ever downloaded Star Trek RPG games on Android smartphones like the Starfleet timeline? I think I did once or twice. I haven't played much of them though, Oliver.
Yeah,
Oliver, I just downloaded
him,
the communicator one. The communicator app to provision the phone for communicator, but I've never tried them. Maybe I should. And Mark, I'll throw it over to you. Have you ever done Fleet Command, ST Timelines, or ST Legends on your phone?
I haven't. You know, I was started and I said I'm just so many things going on, and I'm like, oh god, I'm gonna get addicted. I mean, I'll out myself. I play Clash of Clans and Clash Royale, and you know, like as a time killer, which takes away from my comic book reading time sometimes. But you know, I've heard they're fun. You know, they're fun games, and also what's this, and Star Trek Online I started playing that, and I said, oh my god, if I get into this, but that's pretty cool too. Of course, that's more of a first-person shooter, maybe. I don't know enough about it, but you can control the ships. And Raquel, you might. We should show that one night anyway. It'd be fun to show. But it's yeah, there's only so much time in the day, so you got to pick and choose. But I've heard those are pretty good, and those are great
you had
time.
More hours in a day. We need to send you to a planet where you have like, I don't know, 2 or 3 days in a single day. We gotta find a new planet for you, Mark.
Yeah,
Hungry Boy. I never got that card game from the 70s. Hard. I mean, I bought the cards, some of the sticker card series and stuff, and Marvel cards, but which we talked about cards last week. But card game from the 70s. Can't say I ever played that one. Hungry.
I love this art here. Yeah, that's nice.
Never was much of a gamer, but I have many friends who were. I only played D&D like a total of 1 time, I think, at a friend's house because I got invited to it. So I never did the D&D stuff in the 80s either, or 70s or 80s either. But I got.
Yeah, me neither.
I'm just a comics geek.
Yeah.
No, I played D&D growing up. Yep. So, and that was a big controversy going to a Catholic school because hey, the moms in it, the Tipagores of the world didn't so much like that. And then
that's devil stuff right there.
If they only knew, can't read that stuff. But then it was okay. They're like, oh, they're good kids. They're not, it's harmless.
Hungry Boy, I did buy Marvel Fun and Games. Did you buy that? I love that comic. It was a comic format, like a regular newsstand comic format, early 80s, and you open it up and you had Marvel related crossword puzzles and word puzzles and all this other stuff. And I bought that. Marvel Fun and Games. I bet you bought it, Hungry Boy.
No, I don't have
Mark,
that. No, I don't have that. And I don't have these either. Oh my god, look at these.
There's a little pewter. I have the Watchmen pewter statues. Actually,
great.
I had that Watchmen set of these. Boy, they're terrible, but I love it.
Mrs. D, if you can hear me, cut up the credit card. Cut up the credit card.
It's too late. It's too late. Yeah. God, that looks.
Did you see this beautiful comment from Hungry Boy in the chat? He says D&D was fab. Because it was about planning, scripting, acting, and improv. And that sounds very appealing to me. And at the time, I do have to say, I was in a private Christian school for most of my school years, private Christian school or Catholic schools. So yeah, D&D was not being played by the people who I was hanging out with, but I certainly would like to try it now. And that offers me a lot of incentive, Hungry Boy. I like planning, scripting, acting, and improv. I love
you'd be great at it.
Maybe I need to pick up a D&D.
You'd be great at it. You'd be
How
a
much
natural.
does D&D cost?
Not much. I mean, yes, I mean that's famous last words. I mean, you can spend hundreds and hundreds of dollars, but just to play, if you wanted to get into a game, literally nothing. I mean, you could buy the player's handbook, or probably find a PDF, and just you could just show up, and the DM will say, let's roll a character. Just get out the dice and roll, and you pick your classes that you want to be, and you can get right into the dungeon. So, and today there's a lot of different ways to play online, like over Zoom or chat, or there's different software that you can use. So the dungeon master would be controlling the game. And my friends all keep saying we're going to do it. We've never done it, and play online with each other, just communicating. So you're not really using the computer just to communicate. Or there's other games now where the DM has like a central control module and can show everyone on their screen what's happening. Not so much like an arcade game, but like here's where your characters are on the map, kind of thing. So we keep threatening to do that, us old timers D&D players. We haven't done it yet, but it's that's another great use of technology too. So you could play, using the internet, because it's basically just pen. Original D&D is pen, paper, dice, and your imagination. And you had modules that you'd buy with the stories, but then the dungeon master could make his own story. So you had like a set of rules, like say I'm old school, so like armor class 0 would be tough to hit. Armor class -2 is tougher, and armor class 8 is like you're not wearing any clothes. So you say the attacker would roll the dice, and depending on if it's a really low roll, you say you miss. But then there's modifiers to that roll depending on if you have a magic weapon or what the armor class is. So it's very nerdy / geeky in terms of that, but it's kind of simple. We have a dungeon master telling you, okay, Raquel, you're going to attack the werewolf, roll the dice, and then you see what the score is. If you roll a 3, you missed, and you actually slipped because you slipped, and then the werewolf swipes back at you and does 3 points of damage. And what do you want to do now?
Decepticon is going along with what you're saying here, and listen to this. And Decepticon is a very intelligent person, and he's a very knowledgeable geek. And listen to this beautiful comment he makes here. D&D role-playing is the best story exercise ever made. It should be practiced in every Hollywood studio. Maybe then we'll get stories, characters, and situations that make some sense. And look who just walks through the door. Is
Brightest
that Zach?
Hey, Brightest Day.
Yeah, hey, Brightest Day. What's up, brother?
Hey, nice to see you.
Good to see you, man. But yes, they need all the help they can get. Look at these old, man. I just love looking at these old,
it's beautiful.
these old games and stuff. Look at Doctor.
Gorgeous.
The castle. So this is basically D&D for the Marvel universe, and so you'd have a dungeon with the castle.
D&D was so huge back then. Obviously, the comics companies started jumping on that bandwagon. I actually had a friend of mine back in the 80s made his own Star Trek game of the same type, role playing game, and it was only kind of distributed around here, but it's
a lot of fun, and then it's a social thing too, because you're all playing. That's why people love board games. I think that made such a resurgence too, because you sometimes you're so isolated, especially with this stupid vid going around. And like a family thing, we have game night. I know, Raquel, you have game night too, and
I do.
We do that as a family. Yeah, so you get around and you pick a board game, and then there's so many great board games out now. It's just like Catan is awesome, but there's just what's the train when we play Ticket to Ride, and those are basic new games that are awesome instead of the standard, which are still fun, like Life, Monopoly, Clue. But it's a social thing. When the kids were younger, it was always upsetting when one of them lost, and they get really upset. Some of them sometimes. And yes, really, yep, they're competitive. Yep,
that's funny.
But so it's a great social thing. So we play with our friends, even in the high school and college, and you're, hanging out, drinking some beers, and in the basement playing Dungeons and Dragons all night instead of hooked up. And I shouldn't knock video games, but instead of solo, back then a video game you played by yourself. So the new video games are social, but instead of not doing anything with people, this way you're interacting with everyone. So that's what's fun about it.
Yep.
Yeah, Snort, you were the SCA, huh? I knew a lot of SEAers used to come to the comic shops in the 80s all the time. A lot of them were geeks now, the Society for Creative Anachronism. And I guess they're still around.
Did you see this comment from Pop Culture Republic? He's talking about LARPing. Pop Culture Republic, I do have to admit, I have LARPed, and I really enjoy LARPing. I have been to a murder mystery night at a very, very old hotel where I live. I think the hotel is over 100 years old. And we LARPed there. We did a 1920s murder mystery. We had no idea how it was going to turn out. We had a lovely dinner, champagne. We were all dressed up. I was dressed up as a flapper. Our whole family, we were all dressed up, and we went to that. And I've also LARPed a Michaelmas ball. So I've gone to a very old hotel, a Fairmont hotel, which is haunted, they say. And and we fully LARPed there. So and that LARP actually involved a complete immersion of live action role play, just like the murder mystery night. If you were caught with any type of technology or going out of character, pretending it was, the Regency period, you were actually asked to leave. So I highly recommend the whole LARPing thing. LARPing is really it's a super good time, especially if you're into history, a lot of history, or a lot about a specific subject. I highly recommend LARPing. Getting dressed up, immersing yourself in a character, and then going and playing that character with hundreds of people at a location. It's invigorating. It's just marvelous. I cannot recommend it enough. Do it. If you have a chance to LARP.
I'm Hungry Boy. That is, man, that's incredible. Did not know that, and I love learning stuff like that. I did not know that Lynn Wein, the late great Lynn Wein, was a founder of the Society for Creative Anachronism. Wow, that blows me away. I thought I knew a lot about him, but of course I keep learning some stuff from my. Oh, the thing's here. Look, what's up, dude? The thing.
Awesome.
But that's amazing, Lynn Wein. Thank you for that. I like any tidbit about any of my favorite people from comics history. I like to hear about that, and I did not know that. Hungry Boy.
Interesting.
Aaron Baker, good to see you there. Thank you. Thanks for being here.
Yep,
yeah, it's cool seeing all these games.
Fun stuff. Yeah. So then, of course, the games get, the games get better, but in terms of quality and graphics. But some of these older games, I think, like that 25th anniversary game is one of the all-time great games. I think it's just really fun to play.
Wow.
Great stuff. Yep.
Wow.
So yeah, the Star Trek games, of course, started with that text game that was in mainframes. So you had the Star Trek, which was this text game. That was one of the very first games. So that's I think we've mentioned those before, but and then they came out with this was Super Star Trek on Basic, which if you grew up in the 70s or 80s, you played this game where I wish they had some pictures of it when they died. Yeah, here it is. Here's a picture. Yep. So this was your space field and quadrant, and you just basically typed in where you're going to attack, and here's the Enterprise here. So, and we're like, this is just so awesome. It's like you've actually got the Enterprise there but your imagination takes over when you're playing these things, and you really get into it. And then later they made like slightly better versions of them. But yeah, I think let's see. There's some pictures of them, but yeah, it was just a fun thing to play, and then try to put, because you wanted to be on that ship, right? I think that's why the kid that's going to show back up again this week on Saturday night, unfortunately, but that was that self-insertion of Gene wanted to be on the Enterprise. As a kid, I wanted to be on the Enterprise. He wanted to be there and be in that part of that crew and hang out there, and that unfortunately that character wasn't written well, but it's I can see why that why people would want to be on the Enterprise, right? So
It's a lot of games there.
yeah.
Mark,
So these are all
would you
the
do me a
games.
huge favor?
Sure.
I'm about to show more than I've ever showed on the internet before. I'd like to do it because I really enjoyed this person's company, Pop Culture Republic, and I just want to show this amazing human what it's like to LARP. On Twitter,
Sure,
in
yeah.
our Clubby's Clubhouse, I've sent some pictures. I need for you to know that the pictures that are from the 1920s and the pictures that are from the Regency period are me without any makeup. And I don't Photoshop my pictures, but when you LARP and it's Regency, back then women didn't wear makeup. So I 100% am not wearing makeup. I'm not even wearing foundation. So don't be harsh. Don't judge me harshly. You're going to see me completely like I look like when I get up in the morning. And what's worse
Oh,
is
so then
I
you
have,
didn't wear makeup back then? I didn't. I'm just
yeah.
learning
So
things
what's
now.
worse is that I actually have waist length red hair, and everyone used to wear their hair up in a bun. It was seen as more modest for the Regency period. So I not only do I have my hair all scraped back into a bun, but I have no makeup on and I don't Photoshop pictures. So be kind, but I just sent Mark 3 LARPing
Okay, I'll
pictures
get him to.
that
I'll
we
get
can
him.
share.
Sure.
Let me put them on my PC so I can share them. I'm just saving them. But that's interesting. Didn't have when did what's the history of makeup then? When
I thought makeup started way before that.
Yeah,
I didn't
but-
know.
yeah.
Well, makeup started way before that. But if you were if you were a certain if you were of a certain class of people, you would wear more or less makeup. And so the style of dress that my husband had made for me for this particular LARPing was for a Michaelmas ball. And so typically for a Michaelmas ball, you wouldn't wear a great deal of slap. You would have not a lot of slap. And some women wore no makeup at all. So I wanted to go the route of the fine lady who did not wear any makeup. And I wanted to get
'Cause you
deep
didn't
into
need
drinking
any.
that way. No,
Didn't need any, of course.
I don't know
You
about
don't.
that.
Only women ever think. Only women ever think they do anyway. So.
Yeah.
And the 1920s one, I didn't wear makeup either because I just, once again, I wanted to have that women weren't wearing heavy makeup. I mean, for Michaelmas, I mean, women didn't even have deodorant. Neither did men. They smelled terrible, but I definitely wore deodorant.
Yeah, you don't want to cheat there, right?
No, that's
realism
what,
is a certain realism you can
Right.
well, you know what girls would do? They would actually, girls and guys, like women and men and girls and boys, especially during puberty, they would actually excuse themselves and they would go to the lavatory where there would be lemons, and they would take a slice of lemon and rub it underneath their armpits to get rid of some of the nastier smells while they were dancing and visiting and hugging and and trying to get married.
I guess too, if everyone smelled bad all at the same time, maybe you
probably didn't know as much. Yeah.
Probably didn't notice
Yeah.
it as much, right?
Well, you
Didn't
get your
notice
nose adjusts to it, right? When you get
Right.
used to people's,
Yeah, because
au
when I go
naturel
camping
smell.
when I go camping for the week, it's there's a lot of different smells there than versus when you're that for after a few days and then you don't notice it as much,
Yeah.
And then when you come home, your wife is like, "You smell like a campfire." What do you mean it smell like a campfire? Get right into that, get those clothes off. They're going in the washing machine. You smell horrible, but back then everyone probably smelled smelled bad or smelled like a campfire, right? How else
Well,
did you heat yourself up? Right?
Yeah, and that's and a lot of people are talking about perfume. Yes, certainly for that Regency period, that's what you're looking at. And so different women had different styles and they did different things. And when you look at flappers, you're looking at women not wearing makeup a lot of the time too, because a lot of women had just decided that there is no way they were going to ever wear a corset ever again, and they were going to cut all their hair off, and it was going to be extraordinarily short. And so I also had to have a bun for that one too, to sort of conceal my hair because I didn't want to wear a wig that night. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's interesting when you're LARPing, because not only do you have to do a whole bunch of research before you go, but then you also learn so much while you're there. So yeah, anyway.
That sounds exciting. Yep. Well, here's the first pic. I'll share the screen. Here we go.
I probably shouldn't show these. Okay, so this is what I look like with no makeup on. Sorry.
Beautiful. Oh, don't even. That's beautiful. Oh, we love it. Everyone's
Did anyone cheat and wear makeup?
Probably.
I think some of the actresses did. They were the women were not. No women were wearing pants though. Like no women were wearing slacks.
Yeah.
And in the 1920s, some women did dare to wear slacks. Although that
my grandmother, I had pictures of, she was designing clothes because of course she designed clothes, and she was one of those crazy women that would wear pants. So we have I'll try to dig it up. Actually, it'd be fun to show. She and my mom we're looking at the data and the pictures, like, you were wearing pants back then. It was radical, but of course everyone knew how to sew and tailor, and like
But Mark, you could get arrested for that kind of thing, and a lot of the time it was that you were causing civil unrest, or you were disturbing the peace.
Well, my grandmother was a troublemaker, so
I can see that. I can see that. So it was great because this entire night you're sitting down, you're at a group table with people you don't know, you're in a very old hotel, and you're LARPing, you're in character. It's the 1920s, someone's been murdered during the supper, and the police make you stay in that room until they figure out who killed the person when the lights went out. And so if anyone does this in your area, you have to go do it. It's so much fun, you guys.
Now, could it be one of the guests, or is it always one of the actors?
It's always one of the actors, but there are so many of them. I think there were like 8 actors that were involved with this one. So you were like, oh, who did it? And then they go around, and it's so great because they go over to your table and they have like a glass of champagne, and they're like, so did you know that Rhonda was having an affair with Sir Charles? And you're like, no, I did not know that. And then you take notes. Okay, so once again, here's me with seriously no makeup, all my hair scraped back. But this is Regency, and there's my husband, and obviously men didn't smile in the photographs.
How long ago was this?
Why didn't you smile in the photographs?
Oh, this is recent? Okay.
Yeah, so that's my husband dressed completely in Regency, and I'm in Regency. Only I didn't take my jewelry off. I should have taken my jewelry off, but I was like, nah, not doing it. That was the only thing that I did that was bad, but I didn't get in trouble for it because women did wear jewelry back then if they had enough money to. So I was just like, meh.
I'm rich. No. So why wouldn't guys smile during? That was just what you did in pictures back then?
No.
Or was it bad teeth?
I don't know. They were happy to be alive. It's 100 years ago. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's nice to make it past childhood at this point.
That's true, right? Yeah.
Right? Yeah, Pop Culture Republic. I don't mind. Oh, I have makeup on this one because, of course, a woman on a ship, a pirate, and obviously I've blocked out the rest of my family, but here are the 3 of us dressed fully as pirates, giving our best. Arr! Arr! So lots of fun, and I highly recommend it. Pop Culture Republic. If you have a chance to LARP, you must LARP.
And my thing nerdy. Icon approves of that costume. Yep, that's
so much fun.
Blackbeard, the thing pirate. Yep.
It is fun though. It's super nerdy. You do a whole bunch of research. You get your costume together. You go and appear. You're in character, and then while you're there, not only are you having a great time, but you're learning. And you're learning more about this wonderful, amazing world that you've just immersed yourself in. And then you go home and you're like, I can't believe it. And, that was so fun. So whenever I get a chance to LARP, I LARP.
Larpity
Nice,
larp.
yep.
There you go. Nice.
That's awesome. Yep. Thank you for sharing.
Love it. Love it. Beautiful.
Thanks,
you
guys.
go.
You went so easy on me.
Well, much better looking than
makeup.
us. Gee, than
We
us
don't.
pile of rocks here.
Yeah, we're just a couple piles of rocks, so we appreciate beauty.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you
yeah.
so much. Did you know that Pop Culture Republic has been LARPing for 14 years?
Whoa.
Wow.
There you go. Nice. Nice. Now, did you say something about cons?
I did.
What you got?
Well, I sent you a link, and I would like you to bring this
did you?
up. I sent you a link in the CLUBBY'S Clubhouse link on
Okay.
Twitter. And the thing is that I've never been to any of these, and I think you have, Clobby. And, you know, next year I'm planning on coming down to the United States for the Star Trek convention. But before I do that, I wanna keep going with our theme here on CLOBBERIN Clubhouse and show people what it's like to go to different cons. And since I have two extraordinary geeks with me, and I have so many extraordinary geeks and nerds in the chat, I thought, why not look at some of these great cons? Let's talk about them a little bit. They have some really great sexy pictures as well, accompanying sexy pictures, some really great cosplay, and we could get the ball rolling, just shooting the breeze on that.
All
Nice.
righty. Let's see here. The world's 20 biggest geek conventions. Hang on a sec.
Great.
Look at that there. Bop, 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 bop. Share. All right. Oh, there we go. There we go. There we go. Yes. Cons indeed. They're starting back up. That's for sure. A lot of them are back, back running. Back up
Look
and
at
running.
her.
Wowzers.
Girl, isn't
Look at that
she?
iron. Look at that suit of iron. That's amazing.
I'd like
especially
to.
the
I'd like
red.
to fix her wig though. Her wig isn't so good.
I was talking about Iron Man.
No, how could you be talking about Iron Man with that gorgeous woman in the front?
Red
She's
Sonja.
gorgeous.
Yeah, the wig might be a little wonky, but who cares about the wig? Red Sonja is fantastic. I mean, always loved her. Oh boy, look at that. So this basically is a list, everyone, of the world's biggest geek conventions. I doubt I've been to any of these, but we'll see. WonderCon, I believe that's Chicago. No, Anaheim.
Okay. Tell me about it.
I
Have you
thought
ever been to WonderCon?
No.
And tell me about it, honey.
No, I have not been there. I have not been to WonderCon. Let's see. I thought it was Chicago, but I guess it's Anaheim. WonderCon is held in each year in Anaheim, California, and is a movie, science fiction, and comic book convention. It was first held in San Francisco, California, through 87 through 2011, and then moved to Anaheim. Okay, well, I have not been to that one, but we may have people here who've been to that one. There, let's see. I have heard of it, of course.
So if you've been to WonderCon, please let us know in the chat. It looks fabulous. So this is the convention that was created by the same people behind San Diego Comic-Con, which I've not been.
Right. I've not been either to San Diego. I've been to many. Well, I have been around
I've
here.
driven by it while it was going on, and we were on the trip for different reasons, and the missus like, don't even think about it.
By the
You
way,
gotta go to like the sport. We're going to see like kids are playing sports, so we're like a trip there, and like you cannot. And then of course you couldn't even get in back then anyway without it was so popular by that point without tickets. Yeah.
Well, these are the world's. I guess it says the world's biggest. So at 20, this one weighs in at 46,000 capacity. Wow. I guess that's what it means.
So big.
I've been to bigger one than that one though. 50 for this next one. Oh, stop it. Oh, God damn it. Hang on. The next one is number 19 is DS3 Expo, 50,000. That is where? Let's see here. This is a rather unique convention with a different focus that must. That most of the. I got to move my screen closer. I wouldn't expect.
It's really tiny. Sorry, honey.
Most popular conventions in the U.S. So it's different focus than most popular conventions in the U.S. And that is, if you're a Disney fan. Oh, that's right. That's the Disney
D23. Yeah, D23.
Yeah, D23. So that's
I
Disney.
didn't even know they had one. So that's just Disney.
I've heard of it.
So I'll never go
Just
to that
Disney.
one.
I'll never go to that one. One much closer to you, though. This was fairly close to you, Chicago. I've never been to this one, but I've had a lot of friends who have been to this one. This is Chicago Comic and Entertainment Expo, which has 53 capacity, 53,000 apparently. Also known as C2E2, and I've had many friends go to this one. I have not, but it's
Nick Weiser must go to that one, I'm guessing.
Nick goes
right?
I think Nick has been to that one probably. Let's see. It's I feel like I've heard a lot about it, but I've not been there. Let's see here.
It's not even that old. It started in 2010.
Yeah, not that old. Gen Con, this is Indianapolis, I think. I haven't been to this one, but I know a lot of people who have 56,614. Wow. I mean, I guess they're listing like the highest number they've had, or they're. But Gen Con, apparently, I think it's Indianapolis. Let's see. Gen Con is the largest tabletop game convention in North America, held at Indianapolis, right, Indiana, and includes a multitude of games and board games. I always thought this was it was kind of a cosplay con too, but I guess not. Relatively long dating back to 1968.
Yeah,
that's old. 1968. My God, that's ancient.
Yeah, for a con it is.
Well,
there we go. Here. Now we're finally that is ancient for a con.
Well, that's why I was born.
It is because it's so hard to sustain the team for
impressive,
a con.
Yeah.
Now, when was this article written? Because I think their number's a little off right here. This is one I've been to about 25 times, and almost like 22 year stretch in a row. Dragon Con, that's Atlanta. I'm very familiar with it. It's mostly let's see what they say about it. Dragon Con is an annual convention, but they focus on gaming. It's a lot of it. Anime, a lot of it. Writing, art, paranormal, science fiction, fantasy. Basically, it is a hodgepodge. I'll give them all that. It's very much a cosplay con. What you're seeing right there is from the Saturday morning parade they have. It's a 4-day con. They have Thursday, Friday. It's 5-day con. Thursday through. It's always Labor Day weekend. It says held over the course of 4 days. That's not actually correct. It's actually it's actually, well, yeah, you could say 4.5. Anyway, it goes through. Did somebody shut their mic off? Oh, you guys did. Okay. When that happens, I can't tell if I'm on or not.
No, you're on. Yep. I was drinking something. So
no, it's good. Yep. It's just I'm not looking at the screen. It does that. Let's see here. Where were I? Okay. So anyway, yes, it's course of days with over 57,000 attendees. It seems like I've been there when it's more than that, but maybe so. 400 guests, nearly 1,500 volunteers. The event is held in Atlanta, Georgia, each year and continues to grow. What they don't mention is that it's every Labor Day weekend.
Oh,
nice. And, I've heard some amazing stories from you about that con, and I've only been to ones up in the Northeast, but that's cool, very cool.
It's spread out over about anywhere to 5 to 6 hotels down in downtown Atlanta, which is the busiest. Hello, Catman, aka DD Myers. Good to see you.
Hey, nice to see you.
Hope you're doing well. And in Atlanta, it's a really busy time of the year. For that weekend's the most busy time. There are a lot of other events going on, and there's a gigantic convention center that it is in. That it takes over like all 4 floors of that just ginormous, as they say, convention center. So, and again, it fills up a bunch of the hotels, and that parade goes on for a couple of hours early on Saturday mornings, where it takes up the whole city just about. I mean, it's huge. It seems like that attendance level number seems a little low to me, but anyway, I don't know. But
still a lot of people when you think either way. It's
only at 16, so you guys are wow. 15 Stanley's Kamikaze Expo, 65,000.
I've never even heard of this one. What is this one about?
This one in 2011, Stanley put together a massive convention that attracted fans and fans of anime, horror, science fiction, fantasy, and gaming, held over a course of 3 days in Los Angeles. I've heard of it, but I've never been to it, obviously. So, never been to that one. It's big though. Well, it's off Los Angeles, so it's a shortcut.
Whoa!
What's that?
Whoa!
Wizard World, yeah. I don't know if when was this article written? I gotta check real quick.
I don't know. Scoot on up to the top. Let's go.
Wizard World sold a bunch of their stuff. Let's just 2019. Okay, this was written. No.
It's 2015, honey.
Sorry,
15. It's all right, honey. I had to pick the article with the tiniest text possible. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. I'm just saying. I just needed to know so I needed the context.
Because I sold somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, because I think Wizard World sold it by now, but the thing sold it to Fan Expo.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, so 70,000, Chicago. This is not to be confused with Comics Con. And, yeah, the other one that we had earlier from Chicago, but it's huge. I don't know if they're still having that one or not. So, yep. Let's see here.
Nick would know. Yep.
That's number 15. Oh, yeah, I'm sure he goes to these.
Yeah.
This I know a lot about. Never been to, but I know of it in Seattle, Emerald City Comic Con, 70,000.
Wow, that's a great name. I love that for that.
Emerald
Is
City
New York Comic Con in here? We got to have New York City.
no,
Emerald
it'll
City
be
it's a convention center.
Mm-hmm.
So like I've been there for a cat show. Don't ask.
It's huge.
I was there at a cat show. Don't ask. But that's why it says Emerald City.
Yes, and it is held, everyone. It doesn't say exactly what it is, just basically comics, comics. It's basically, I always say comics, and it's very little comics. It's like, it's just a hodgepodge
Cosplay.
of different stuff, cosplay and science fiction, fantasy, different things like that. It's always just rarely like centric to one.
And look, all the Boba Fetts are keeping their helmets on.
And
Why,
that's
Snortapoopas? Why do you not like the big cons? Would you like to share why?
I know why I don't like them. They're annoying.
Too many peoples.
Oh, the crowd. Some of them, the crowds can be really, really.
I just don't like it when I'm cosplaying because, I wear a lot of naughty things. And so when I'm cosplaying and I'm walking down the aisles, I don't want to walk that close to people because, I don't want people touching me.
Well,
You know what I mean?
And sometimes if it's a crowded place, it's
people just bump into you too.
One of the things annoying at Dragon Con is people will be, even in some of the smallest areas, walking in and out. Someone will see someone with a costume, and invariably you're going to be walking trying to get somewhere, and someone's stopping someone else in front of you, going, "Hey, let me take a picture." So they're stopping for a big photo op right in the middle of everything, and it's clogging things up. That's already bad as it is.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so annoying. PAX is one that, and I've heard of this one. But I don't know where it is. It says here it's all over the place: San Antonio, Melbourne, Boston.
Moves around.
70,000. Wow. And we're only at number 12.
Too many humans make me nervous, Snortapoopas says.
Yeah.
Pop Culture Republic says cosplay has exploded over the last decade. Yeah, like ridiculously.
Well, it's taken over. In fact, there are a couple of thing that cosplay has done. No offense to any cosplayers here. My daughter's a cosplayer. A lot of friends are cosplayers. They've changed cons to where a lot of vendors can't go anymore. You go to it's expensive enough to go to one of these cons. Let me just put it to you the scenario this way: a gigantic number of the people are going there to run around and play around in costumes, and that's great. But they spent most of their money creating the costume and paying for their expenses to go to the con, to get into the con, the travel to the con, time, all these things that factor in. But the time they're walking around in that dealer's room, I mean, money's scarce.
Yeah.
Because, and again, God bless them. They're having a good time. Mile High and I think one other of the biggest comics back issue dealers ever pulled out of San Diego because no one's buying comics anymore there.
Well, yeah, but then you don't have comic book fans there, which is not knock against cosplayers. I'm sure a ton of them are comic fans,
but a lot of
some
them
of them
aren't
could be just
cosplayers.
into the cosplaying, right? So if you're there,
a lot of them just go to Party City and buy a costume, and then they just show up, and that can be really troublesome for real cosplayers. Like one thing I really dislike about that whole thing is the whole like Party City costume. I don't enjoy that. That it's all superhero movie people now, so they just completely buy their costume. They don't make it. And they don't put any time into it, and so they show up and they're normies, and everyone knows they're normies, but they pass off as cosplayers. And one of the things that I don't like about it is every single time, including the Star Trek convention in Las Vegas, why do they continue to start the parade, the cosplay parade, and the cosplay competitions at 8:00 in the morning? If I have to do 3 hours worth of makeup to do my Andorian cosplay, why the hell?
Very early.
like
because you should have just bought it at Party City.
Right. Yeah, Matthew Pounder.
but that's what I'm saying, Mark.
Yeah,
You know me so well. That's you. Yes, my friend, my awesome friend. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Like if you go to Party City and you pick up your Wonder Woman costume, or you go to Party City and you pick up your Spider-Man costume, of course you can be at the parade at 8 o'clock in the morning. Me, I'm like, my first layer's just set.
Oh no, it's really a problem for them. I guess they deal with it, but no, it's not optimal. I'm sure that the cosplayers don't like it. It's fine. I love how hello there, Matthew Pounder.
Hey.
When I first met, that's how I met Melinda. We have a special spot at the Marriott at Dragon Con we had every year. We go sit down and just sit and talk for hours, and we would watch the costumes. And we would spot one walking by, and she would say, "Party City."
Yeah.
I mean, it was just like, just didn't even try with that one. But of course, I agree with her. But if it was a hot chick, they get a pass from me. I don't care. But that's just good. That's just my.
But still, having normies at the con who are using the Party City, who are using Spirit Halloween, and they're using it as a Halloweeny day, they definitely have changed the way the con floor looks and the way the con floor pays, and the way the con floor pays and plays, and how expensive it is to go. I mean, it's so expensive now.
Well, plus the movies too. In addition to becoming Hollywood, I mean, you would have thought that the comic books would have sold like crazy, but basically, like San Diego basically became a Hollywood thing. And growing up as a kid, I remember going to the cons, and they were really not a con like you would think of today. It was just a hotel room, that they would rent out, and vendors would show up with their long 20 long boxes, 40 long boxes each, and you'd maybe once in a while there'd be like and I don't want to say like a B-list actor, but like someone from a Saturday morning show or cartoon, not like Tom Cruise or something, but you'd have genre actors there, which is really cool, and get an autograph signed, but you wouldn't have a huge turnout of people like that. And you'd walk around like I'm looking for Micronauts number 33. You got Micronauts number 33? And then if you'd find it and he'd like, I want $10 for that, you'd go around and say, well, I'll think about it. And you'd shop around the con. Oh, I could get it for,
I'll think about it. And then you go check the other tables, and then you come on back.
And you come back. But that was fun. It was just boxes of car, and then you had photos and you had models, but very rarely would you see a cosplayer back in the day. Maybe someone wear shirts or something.
Those were different.
Special anymore.
Now they're what people go. People want to run around in their costumes. Some of them are great. Some of them aren't. Matthew Pounder. Oh, Monkey Jeebus, good to see you there.
Hey, Monkey Jeebus.
Matthew. You enjoyed Spanish Galaxy. Up next, /Maraud. Yes, I remember that one. That would be Paul Galassi. Great art. Let me know what you think.
Cardi's here.
Cardinal Sin has popped into the chat with a $20 super chat. Thank you so much, Cardinal. I really appreciate that. He says, Raquel Briggs and all in the panel in the chat. Glad to see you're still going. Well, I'm glad to see you're still going, buddy. Thank you for stopping in, and thank you for that generous chat. It is appreciated, sir. Let's see here.
Hail Cardinal Sin, or AKA Chris Walken.
Chris Persia says, it feels like this is an attempt to push the real cosplayers out of their own fandom, similar to all the other posers that infiltrated other forms of fandom. The passion is being traded for a party event. Yeah. Well,
as far as I'm concerned, we could just leave that comment up all night. And I wouldn't even mind making that comment my marquee on all of my social media. Talk about amen. I'm an agnostic, and I'm going to ask for an amen here. Totally, Chris. You have your finger on the pulse of exactly what's going down. And it's just like, some people don't mind because, when hot girls show up, it's nice and stuff. But it would also be nice if they actually understood the costumes they're wearing, and that they didn't get the whole costume out of a single bag at Party City. It's a little frustrating.
Well, at New York Comic Con this year, the one good thing was not good because of the vid, but there were a lot less of the Hollywood things happening because movies were basically dead at that point. So on the first floor, you actually had stacks of cardboard long boxes for the first time in years. And I've got to say, there were some Party City outfits, but there was some really imaginative cosplay. If you guys remember I did a couple of videos on my trip to Comic-Con this year, and I got some slideshows up that you could check out. You look on my channel, and there was an amazing cosplay. I think that's one of the nights we did like a 5-hour stream for Kellen Clavians on one of my one of my channels. We kept talking, like, maybe we'll do it part 2 tomorrow because I had so many photos. But yeah, there were some people who were not impressive, and there were some really people making motorized costumes. There was a
lot of
vulture.
them put a lot of work into it.
Yeah, so
and
there
the
are
thing
some
is
incredible
the
people.
more obscure the cosplay and the more work that goes into it and the more handicraft that goes into it, the more the geek and the nerd communities are open to it. But the problem is that once you have this sort of corporate, everything's a superhero movie, people become fatigued by cosplay and they don't even want the cosplayers around. But one thing I definitely don't like about it, like I said, is the way they've set up the timeline of it. I don't appreciate when I want to go and see Brent Spiner, or when I want to go over to this table and talk to this person, or I want to go hang out with the steampunk people and so on and so forth, that like I have to plan my whole day around that instead of just being able to cosplay one day and then go to the con and have a good time and hang out with people and talk about Star Trek and make sure I make all my Star Trek panels, because it's exactly like Clobby was saying earlier. Look, I'm a post-secondary instructor. I teach communications. I teach comm theory and technology and English. I don't make a lot of money, okay? I'm not even working right now. And it's like, it's $100 a day. Where did they think, like Clobby went on a little rant when we first put up this article, and he said it best. It's like, if your cosplay is $400 or $500 and you've worked on it for a year perfecting it, and then you want to go and you want to buy these certain comics, and you also want to make sure you hit the poster vendor and that you hit the t-shirt vendor because they have the only licensed stuff that you want, or there's a really nice collector there. It's like they've made it so it's so commercialized now, and it's so expensive to even get your foot through the door. It's like, how do you even enjoy the con anymore? So yeah, it's just Chris Persia and Clobby said it best. You don't even need to hear it from me, but I'm just repeating what they said because it's so frustrating. It's so much money, and it's the way they have it set up is so screwed up. They're ruining the cons.
It's not, by the way, but when I was talking about vendors, it's not just vendors who are suffering from it. It's also artists and, artists who go there to sell their art and different things like that. It's the same dilemma. A lot of these people have spent so much money on their costumes and how expensive these cons are. They're not spending as much money into the poor schlubs who have tables and there who are vendors or who are selling their art or their whatever their stuff.
Or toys,
their dealers, whatever they happen to be. Dealers of all kind are hurt by that. Cosplay's kind of done that, but what are you going to do? Now we're almost to the top 10 here.
And the gate is too much money. And stop giving me the stupid swag bag. I don't want my swag bag, but I definitely don't want my husband coming to me saying, okay, well, babe, it's $100 a day. Did you want to cosplay this day and then go and visit everyone on this day so that you can go and absorb all of the vendors and maybe buy a few things? It's a lot of money, folks. And
cons are expensive.
And they're sabotaging.
It was $80 to get into NYCC. And, that doesn't include, you got to at least
one day, maybe.
Yeah, one day. Yeah, and then you got to eat. The training is $20. If you're coming,
it's all ridiculous. And this all started when they started charging ridiculous money for artists. For celebrity autographs, but that's a whole nother story. That's 5
shows. But that's
shows.
True, and I'm glad that you brought it up, because what's going to end up happening is exactly what Chris Persia just said, is that the real cosplayers are not going to show up anymore. It's just going to be one giant Party City Spirit Halloween extravaganza, and it's all a bunch of normies, so they're not interested in the tables, so they just keep jacking the gate. like they're going to jack the gates so high that nerds and geeks won't even be going to it anymore because they've screwed up the time for the cosplay. The cosplayers are getting choked out by the normies who are Spirit Halloween people and Party City people, and then you have no money left for the, you know, going in and spending money and enjoying being a geek and a nerd. So it's
this. This all started happening because Matthew Pounder basically said there was no cosplay. And back in my day, that was when I started. That's the same deal. There was a costume contest, and a few people would show up at the con in a costume. But cosplay is just you're running around with. I mean, not everyone who goes to cosplay gets in a damn contest, but it used to be that's what the majority of the people there in costumes were going to be in the contest. And everyone else just showed up in normal clothes or geek shirts or whatever. It didn't do that. Now they blurred that line so much, and eventually the cosplay has nothing to do with a contest. I respected it more when it was a contest. That was fun. And by the way, that kind of takes away the fun when everybody's doing it. It's no fun to go to the costume contest anymore.
Well, the thing is that folks need to realize too that there's a lot of corporate manipulation going on here as well when we're talking about an expo, a fan expo, when we're talking about a Comic-Con, and when we're talking about a science con, because you know the very first Star Trek convention was a science convention, and everyone showed up in what they call the Japanese word cosplay, but Star Trek people, Trekkies, invented cosplay before there was such a thing as cosplay, and we didn't call it cosplay. It was actually LARPing back then. So the very first Star Trek Star Trek convention was a science convention, and everyone showed up dressed as Star Trek because they wanted to LARP. And so for me, as the kind of cosplay I do is about immersing myself in whatever the story is, and it's usually Star Trek, and now I'm going to be doing Neuro Now, I'm going to be doing Dream Girl, so I'll immerse myself in that. But it's not just about getting up dressed up in a costume and showing that you can sew and showing that you can make a costume and you're going to be in a contest. There are so many competing ideas here that I think Mark used the word earlier that it's getting diluted. Or was it you who said diluted? But it's just this overall feeling of bleh now.
Yep.
I had a friend who was actually at the 72 con, and of course, unfortunately, he's passed away, Greg. But he was at the 72 con at the Hilton Hotel in Manhattan. So that's considered one of the very first cons. I think there was one in '68, they were saying, but library they had done. But and of course, he has. I'd mentioned that before. He's got the Delta Shield on his. Wanted to have that on his tombstone. He's such a diehard Star Trek fan. So and he had all the memorabilia from that convention and saved stuff from the early '70s. Is amazing to see. So, and back then, like you said, it was a much simpler. It was a much simpler thing. It wasn't a corporate thing. It was a grassroots fan thing. So on the one hand, it's been fun to see everyone love the Marvel movies and some of the DC movies and have it become part of the popular culture. But unfortunately, it hasn't translated into comic book sales, and it's been kind of a corporate takeover where, hey, I mean, I can get pretty much any action figure I ever wanted now. Although I would like a custom figure of the Thing in that Marvel annual Fighting the Champion. That'd be wild to have.
You never know.
But your friend was at that first basically Trekkies LARPing. That's what long before the word cosplay was taken from Japan and applied to it. And let me tell you folks at home, there's a huge difference between LARPing something that you really, really love and being immersed in that character and showing up. And there are some power nerds and power geeks there with you, because then all of a sudden it feels like you're in a different world. That is so much different than what's happening today with cosplay. It's you can't even recognize it, and it's not even good, and it's not even fun anymore. I had a guy walk up to me, and apparently he's like pretty famous at the Star Trek convention in Vegas. And he walks up to me and he's like, "Live long and prosper." And he shows me the Vulcan salute. And I showed him the Vulcan salute back, and I said, "Peace and long life." And he jumped back and he's like, "You know that?" And I'm like, "Well, how many people here are in Party City costumes?"
Yeah.
throwing you the LLAP. Like, it's just what Trekkies originally did, and we were the first to do it long before the Japanese tradition. The Trekkies were the first to do it. It was a form of LARPing. And if we go back to that, where you could walk up to anyone dressed in that way and say to them, something really inside about the story, they would know right now. Now you walk over to a cosplayer and it's the first time they've ever been to a convention, and they didn't put any work into it at all, and they don't know anything. They're freaking normies.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, in some ways it's great to have it popular, but in other ways it's like I personally hate the big crowds, and of course I did feel very at home at all these Comic Cons because it's mostly, it's all our quote unquote our people. So it's like a friendly atmosphere among it when you're in your crowd. So I have to say 99.9% of the people I've met at cons have been super friendly. Or if you bump into someone, they're oh, sorry about that, or yeah, I didn't see you, sorry, and then you give them like the Vulcan salute or something if they're wearing Star Trek costume. Where if you're on the subway in Manhattan or streets in Manhattan, you're not going to get that. So that part is really really enjoyable and heartfelt, but just things can, hey, there's money, right? So there's money involved, and they're not just fan things anymore that are run just by the fans. So you had all the creation conventions, and there's good and bad with everything. So it's very commercialized.
Well, let's just go back to the way that things were before. Maybe fans should start demanding that. If you're at a science convention, it's not going to be a lot of geeks. There won't be a lot of collectors and things like that there. It will be mostly Star Trek and books and authors and really science-driven comics and things like that. And people will expect it. They won't see this homogeneity, corporations forcing geeks and nerds and every other type of social group into one compact, all of these people like our corporate superhero movies people. If we go back to catering to those genres, catering exclusively to those geeks, and making sure we bring in the most beautiful products for them, especially for collections and so on and so forth. And we go back to having fan expos, and we go back to having science fiction conventions. I think the cons will start making money hand over fist again. But if you create homogeneity, if you try and smush everybody all together and turn them into one audience, you make it so diluted that no one even wants to go anymore.
Yeah. No, it's true. Yeah. I mean, just everything is just so commercialized. I mean, it's unbelievable how things have changed. And we always talk about, no one to sound like a get off the lawn person, but and guys know how much I love action figures. But growing up, you had Mego figures and very other, the superpowers figures, and then finally you got the X-Men figures later. But as a young kid, really, there were very, very few toys, genre toys. Of course, you had the great, the old-fashioned G.I. Joes and Micronauts. But if you wanted Marvel Comics characters, that was pretty tough. And I remember they came out with the PVC line of figures back in the late 80s, early 90s. I couldn't, oh, wow, look at these PVC figures. I still have the thing that's been riding my dashboard for the last 30 plus years, the PVC set. And everyone knows, like, it's funny because, when you have the same car, like friends would always know that that's me driving because they'd see the thing on the dashboard. So I always had this figure of the thing. And a crazy aside, but I was doing the census. So it must have been 1990 because I think I was doing the census, and I was doing it over the summer with one of my friends' dads who was a Navy veteran from World War II and was doing it just to make a little extra cash, I guess. And I'm like, Commander Helmet, we stopped, I'm like, I'm gonna stop in the comic book shop, on the route. He's like, oh, it's okay. And then I'm like, oh, I bought my comics for the week. I'm like, oh, I'm kind of short. You had an extra $5 so I can get this thing PVC. So yeah, so he lent me the money to get the thing PVC, and since then it's been right in my dashboard in every vehicle. So
Nice.
it's
That's
fun memories
wicked.
like that. But you
Yo,
couldn't
I
get
would love
you
to
couldn't get
buy
the stuff.
I would love to buy stuff. Do you have any idea how excited I would be to go to a comic expo with you and Clobby? But that's
Oh yeah,
way
that'd be
different
so
than
much
going
fun.
to
Yeah.
a fan expo or going to a science convention, a science fiction convention. They're trying to force too many things into the almighty one corporate product to rule them all, and I think it's sad. But like I said, it's not like it would. Could you imagine going to a library with me? What it would feel like if we walked through it together and I could show you all the things that I love. It would be fun.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah.
when I go somewhere with you and Clobby and it's all comics and all the stuff you guys have taught me about the art, the craft, the design, the audience, the beautiful, rich history of comics. Why do I need to be there thinking about anything other than that? I'd love to go and get my gold
Yeah.
keys. I want to go hang out with you guys and go finish up my gold keys.
Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, and then they had some statues. I remember you, Mike. I don't know when you probably were in the comic book had your shop at the time, but remember that first Wolverine statue that came out that was porcelain?
That'd be more
really
90s.
horrendous. Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember that horrendous Wolverine statue that was one of the first. I bought it years later, but it was terrible. And the claws were horrible. But that was one of the first. And the guy in the shop was like, "Wow, check this out! We got a Wolverine statue you can buy." I'm like, "Yeah, but it looks like shit." And
yeah,
then
but
years
imagine
later,
going to one of those with MARC and Scuba Pete. Imagine going to one of a fan expo with Scuba Pete and MARC. It would be nuts. Imagine the expensive stuff they would buy, the stuff they would tell us, hey, there's only one of those in the world.
Yeah.
And of course, Clobby could chime in there too. But it's different. It's a different experience. Comics are a different experience than collecting, and it's a different experience than science, and it's a different experience than nerding out on this, that, and the other, right?
A lot of fun. I love going to cons and hanging out. That's what it's for. For me, it's for hanging out with friends, though. I mean, that's my experience with the reason why I like to go. Yeah. And Anime Expo here, number 11. My daughter actually goes to that one. That's in Los Angeles. And it's in Tokyo as well, I guess.
Wow.
So yeah, she goes to that one in Los Angeles every now and then. 10 Anime Festival Asia, 82,000. Anime cons are gigantic. There's almost can't compare them to the other ones. Wow, MCM London Comic Con, the big London Comic Con. That's huge.
Oh, that's from Cats.
Over 100,000. Yeah, it is. The pictures they use for this thing. So yeah, that's over 100,000. Now we're getting into the big time. Otakon, I think I've heard of this one in Baltimore. My daughter's going to this one.
What?
As well, over 100,000.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. This is a big anime. I'm telling you, anime's the biggest for the cons
Anime's
right
huge
now.
Down here.
Yep. So I don't know if they ever put that other one in Los Angeles. I mean Las Vegas yet. Anime Japan over 100,000 again.
This is a hard no for me. Do you look at how busy it is? Snorta Poopes. Look at how busy it is. Hungry boy. Shoulder to shoulder.
To eat there.
This is 2015 when this list was made, but I can't believe San Diego's at number 6. Huh? That's crazy.
Well, maybe they're killing their
I
game.
think San Diego's got to be number 1.
New York's
right?
got in New York more than number 1. It's number 5. New York at number 5. Wow. I cannot believe that those two are that low down.
I can, because that's what's basically reported in my country. I've always known that New York Comic-Con is like a cluster F. Like I've heard that it's a big, hot, sweaty mess.
but a lot of people go to them. I mean, I mean, San Diego, I assumed was going to be. I thought that'd be number 1. So,
But New York started not that it's a relatively recent con. So it's
I mean,
was
it's
very
fairly it started
so it wasn't as
14?
so it
14
wasn't
here.
No,
yeah, so
no,
it was,
no, no.
No,
That's
no, no.
something else. It says
what year
there.
was it? And but I mean, in the beginning, it wasn't as
around a
big,
while.
and then it went nuts when all the Marvel stuff went through the roof. So
Japan Expo's got it beaten by look how much, Jesus Christ. And again, this is 2015 for numbers,
That's
but I guess
crazy.
240 freaking oh god. Anyway, Lucca was it Luca or Lucca Comics and Games, wherever the hell that is. That is in
Italy, Tuscany.
Italy. Wow, that's mind-boggling. That's the biggest
how many?
one.
Wow, that's amazing. Well, my son's in Italy now, so yep.
Another one in Germany
gotta
right
go
here.
visit. Yeah.
GamesCon. So number one in the world is
Wow.
Comic-Con.
Is this the one in Germany?
No, this one is in
Tokyo.
In Tokyo.
That doesn't surprise me,
Wow.
actually.
Well, that doesn't surprise me. That I just thought San
Yeah.
Diego would be higher.
Holy Moses. So anime and manga
Oh,
or
they're
whatever.
huge.
Huge now.
They're gigantic. I mean, I knew they were big, but good Lord.
Yep.
Sorry about the puppies and
You
the
know,
moaning in the
no,
ground.
no, we love the puppies. Kal-El,
They're better than that StreamYard's background music.
Kal-El, I'll tell you, I'm the same way. He said San Diego used to be a bucket list from a con from now. Couldn't pay me. It's just a big commercial for all the crappy movies and TV shows coming out.
I agree.
It should not be called Comic-Con. And here's the biggest reason why I don't care about it anymore. I always ever really wanted to go, obviously because it's huge and here's so much, but it used to have every big comics pro from the old school guys to even the new ones, all of them went there, and there were always tons of panels with all the old school guys, panels I would have wanted to go to. And almost none of them are alive anymore that I would want to see. So I have no use for San Diego anymore either.
Yeah, and so many of the people who it used to be a bucket list item for me as well, and it's actually why I started perfecting my Andorian so hardcore. I thought if I go there and there are a whole bunch of Hollywood people there and there are a whole bunch of professional makeup artists there, I want to make sure I make a splash. So I worked really hard on my Andorian, but now I actually don't even want to go. I'm looking forward to the Star Trek convention in Las Vegas more so than that con, because I think most of the people who are involved with that now, like as far as the Hollywood types go, I think and I'm just going to come out and say it, I think they're douchebags. So
Yes.
why do I want to go to a douchebag convention? I'm just rather go to Star Trek convention in Las Vegas, and I'll be there next year, and I hope a lot of you will be there as well.
San Diego, even in the 90s was a nightmare for a person who had to be on more than 2 panels in one day. Yeah, I imagine, but we all know Kirby started San Diego, by the way. We helped Jack Kirby actually helped start that one in the early 70s.
Oh, wow. That's another old one.
Yeah, back then the cons were just they were comic books, right? Yep. So
it was called Comic-Con, San Diego.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
now
it's just comics.
now it's still called that, but I mean, they had, I guess that even back then they had other types of guests and stuff, but I mean, now it's nothing. It's like probably 10% comics. What's that? Because even some, very few comic retailers go there. It's just about everything but comics.
It is. It's film and television now.
Yeah,
it's film, TV, and
unfortunately.
internet con, which is why I think they should just, call it a fan con. If it's a fan con, just call it a fan con. If it's a Comic Con, make it a Comic Con.
Yeah.
If it's a science convention, make it a science convention. Stop trying to make it all into one thing. It's ruining it.
Kirby started San Diego when it was at hotels. Now it's at that whatever, some kind of huge convention center, I suppose.
Mm-hmm.
But so
this makes sense.
lost.
Yeah, it would be in a hotel back in the day. Yeah,
I'm like whoever said it was. Someone said it was Kal-El. I'm like you now. I don't care. Not only that, I've been to Dragon Con so much. I don't really care about big cons anymore. Smaller ones are kind of fun if you go with your buddies. But I tell you what, I would rather drive to bigger and even some smaller cities and hit all the comic shops than go to any cons.
Yeah, that would be so much fun. I would love to do that with you.
Oh, if I go when I know I haven't been able to travel much lately, unfortunately, but I've traveled a lot here and there before. Anytime I'm ever traveling anywhere, if I have the chance, I'm looking up to see what the comic shops are when I'm passing through whatever town, and I'm hitting the comic shop if I can. I gotta go by them. I would if I could afford it, I'd just ride the country hitting all the comic shops, and the other types of specialty geek type shops as well, and and flea markets and all those kind of places and stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Used bookstore. God, I love me a used bookstore.
Oh,
Yeah,
come
used
on. Used bookstore. I can do some serious damage. Like, I actually have to stop before I go
Yes.
into the bookstore, and I look my husband deep in the eyes and I say, this is my limit. Do not let me go over the limit. And I actually make a stack on the front counter. And then he's like, okay, babe, now you need an edit. So I have to edit which ones I actually want to have. And sometimes I walk around the whole store with the one I really love a lot, like it's a baby. It's a little baby.
And there used to be so many good ones down here. I mean, there's one stuff. There are a few here and there, but there used to be so many great ones that you would go to these places and they would have rooms and rooms, and they were always like in really awkward places where there would be rooms and rooms of different stuff filled with books everywhere. Usually in some sort of there was one I really loved in Atlanta called they're still there, I think, called the Book Nook. I believe they're still. He sells he's got a little bitty compartment, like a little bitty space for his comics. And then he's got a thing up front for a lot of his pop culture type merchandise and stuff. And in the back, at least it used to be, the biggest part of the place was used books. And he had been fairly decent order. We go there once a year for the con. We would go there for the con, and then when the con was over the day, we would hit the comic shops, Oxford Comics in Atlanta. That was huge. We would hit the Book Nook. We hit a couple of the other ones on Saturday night until they closed down, and they stayed open late because they knew people were going to them late and stuff. That was the most fun of the con for me, was hitting the shops.
Yeah.
And the last time I was we went to Maine, and then I found that book for you, Raquel, the Star Trek book, and I was in the bookshop. And remember, I found those old comics. Yeah. I found that Batman from the 50s, and a bunch just lying in there, and not even bagged and boarded. Which reminds me, I got to buy Silver Age bags. Make a note of that. I'm add them.
The Jason Lee Tucker statement. Hey,
hail to you as well. Nice to see you. And yes, Hungry Boy, I do have an A list, then a B list, and then I have to do the C list, chop. But I'm terrible. Like we have a really great used bookstore here, and they have the old art table books and photography books that you can get Monet or Manet or Degas, Renoir, and the books originally were like $300, and he'll sell them for like $10 or $15. So like when I see them, it's like ding 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 ding. Like I feel like I won the lottery or something. I like completely freak out. I'm a total ridiculous over the top nerd. I also Hungry Boy. I also love the way they smell. Oh
yeah,
my
the
God,
bookstore
they
smell
smell
great. Yeah.
So good.
Yeah, and we had so I was in that store, and I'm like, oh look, there's Star Trek books. I'm seeing. I'm like, oh, I've got this one. This is only $5. Oh, that's going in the box that I still owe you to send up to Canada to Raquel. So yeah, I've got about like 10 Star Trek books going in there.
I'm gonna drool all over them.
Yeah. So and I'm not asking you. I mean, if you have duplicates, some of these are ones I found, and if you have duplicates, you can pass
worship
them forward.
Them?
But
you mean worship them? Yes, I'll definitely do that.
So, and the missus is like, don't you already have those books? Like, no, I got a friend who could use this one. Yep. So, and then you find those bargains too, which is great. A lot of, sometimes, they're expensive, but a lot of times you can find, books for, $5, $10, $3,
Yeah.
But I love going in old bookstores and just rummaging and seeing what you can find. And there's so many genre books too. Like, if you love toys or comics, or there's so many great books on toys and comics, and or whatever you're interested in. And there's something about it, as much as I'm a digital person, just being able to leaf through like some of those coffee table books, or they're just so much fun to go through and read. Like that Superman book that I was showing a few weeks ago or a month ago, the history of Superman, and just reading that. And I'm not nowhere near the expert that CLOBBERIN Times is, but it's then you learn something, and then you read a book, and you feel better about knowing more about a subject you love, and they're great pictures, and yeah, instead of playing a video game, which are fun too, but there's something special about those bookstores, and they're disappearing. A bunch of bookstores in my town closed, and
Yeah.
we used to have this great Barnes and Noble with the coffee shop and comic books and magazines, and you go there just to hang out. And I'd always scope the bargain bins just to see what was there, and the darn place closed, and it was always seemed like it was always open and popular, but it shut down. It was such a
costs
shame.
a lot of money. Stock costs a lot of money. You know, that's why and that's why whenever I'm at my used bookseller, especially when I know it's an individual, and there's one gentleman in particular where his family has owned the shop for quite a while. That's why I make sure I'm so generous when I'm there. And he's given me deals that they're like, some of the deals are crazy. Like, I had I got the entire Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe original paperback box set. And I think he, after he saw the stack of books that I was buying, I think he gave it to me. If memory serves, I'd need to ask my husband, but I think $10 or $15. No,
nice.
Imagine, you know what you would pay for that on Amazon?
Well, I think I have. I don't know if that's a first edition. I do have that paperback set. I don't know if it's a first edition, but that's a real. God, I love those books. Yep.
Yeah, and
So it
and
must
the
be
box set
expensive,
and the
first
box set
edition, right?
the box is in pristine condition now. Of course, I love trade back. Trade back is gorge, especially because when a trade back goes to bed with you, a trade back is a wonderful thing to get into bed with. Your cat, your dog, nobody gets hurt. It's better than a hardcover. So I like those trade backs. I mean, I don't mind I don't mind the hardcover, and I don't mind the paperbacks. But the only thing is since I've gotten older, it's extremely difficult for me to read the very tiny paperbacks. I can't.
Yeah.
The print got smaller over time, and then the book shrank. Yeah.
Yeah, in the 1960s, when you had a bottle of medicine, it wasn't in 4-point font. And I've had better than 20/20 vision my entire life. I don't ever recall needing to read 4-point font.
Yep. Hungry Boy. The update on that is as of what time was it today? Around I hope he must be sleeping. He's probably still tired. As of around 3 o'clock my time today, he said a little bit better. He's feeling a little bit better. That's all we know right now.
That's good.
Yeah, he said this is not too much to say, but I guess he said I feel better, as feel like 3 of the 5 gorillas beating him I have gotten tired. So he's feeling a little bit better, thankfully. So I guess he's really
So there you go.
Pulling through, thankfully. So we're all happy that Steve, if you're listening on this, we hope you're feeling a lot better today, and each better you get better, and hopefully see you in the chat soon.
Yeah, we're sending our love to you, honey. We care for you very much, and I'm sending you a hug, and just stay in bed and get some rest, and get well soon, please.
Comics. Who wants to look at some comic book covers for no reason?
Let's do it. Let's do
don't need
it.
a
Did you
reason.
see what
Let's do it.
Claude put up at the top here?
Yeah,
Claude
what?
put, "I'm out of the loop, Raquel. I never learned to read."
That's true.
I swear, Claude Parrish and Mike Clobby Alonso are going to be the death of me. One day, I'm telling you, when we are older than dirt, when we are like 100 years old, if we make it to that time, I'm going to sit on a porch with these two and just listen to them go back and forth. They're just ridiculous, the most ridiculous people.
Nobody wants to hear any of that. Well,
I hope he learns to read someday, so he can read some comic books.
Talk about get canceled if anyone ever heard us. Oh my goodness. But guess less than 1 hour has any other topics. I thought we
sweetheart, fire your guns.
Looking at some pic. I don't know. I just trying to think of something, and I had.
I do have to show at one point. I do. Have to
show
that's
right. You got a toy.
And the thing that Raquel sent me too. So why don't we start with whatever you want to do first? But
go for it.
Go for it. All right, here. Let me start the camera here. Well, we'll start with this. This is close by. So, I mean, you're going to say you've got that. And I know, I know you've got that.
Claude gave it to me.
But Claude, you're an awesome buddy to get this for
Captain
Clobbering
Marty
Times.
Spock. What's up, buddy? Captain Marty Spock.
No, Captain. And I don't know if I should.
Ethan,
I don't know if I should take this out of the box. I can't get by
I
another
did.
one. I wish I had
did
two.
you buy two?
No, I
No.
didn't.
Take it out.
Why?
Take it
I'll
out.
take it out and pose it. It's got to go on the shelf. I got to find a spot up there. But this is a great. I think this is actually better than the Walgreens figure that's
See
selling
what
for like
Claude said?
obscene.
I love you,
obscene amounts of
Claude.
money.
Claude. That never gets old for me. Yeah, they use that packaging on the old packaging from the '90s, and I hate that. I hate that rendition of the thing on that from that first
Yeah,
season.
it's a
but
cartoon.
The
Yeah.
rest is great. Yeah, it's a good figure actually. Even though White Stripe isn't my favorite, and like I
Yeah.
said, I almost bought Sue, but if I'd already had Johnny, then I would have got Sue that day.
Yeah,
I want to get Psycho Man and High Evolutionary, but
those
I
are
can't
great.
Can't afford them either.
Pupus. Thing?
Can't afford
Never
them
heard
either.
that one before.
And you can change the head, but yeah, this is a really well
Smiling
done
Bandito.
figure.
Bandito. Hey, hey,
Hello,
hey.
hell. Do you think this is better than the Walgreens one,
Yes.
Clobbering Times? Or
I think,
it is.
I do like it better than that one.
Maybe I'll buy another one. I can't. I got to buy the other ones for. I
You
can't.
need to go. You
They're
still have to get the Walgreens one.
Yeah, and the Marvel
Just
Legends were
buy two. That's what I do, and then you can. And
They're
then
$22 a piece, though.
22
I know.
smackerels. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Things are tight these days, unfortunately. You know.
things are tight.
well, just open it.
Yeah,
Just
Well, I gotta
enjoy
open it
it.
carefully.
Just open it.
you don't have to
Yeah,
do it
but
right
usually
now,
when I
but
open it,
do it later.
I do it very carefully, and I take a knife and like a fillet knife, and I go under it so I can kind of keep
Oh.
the
No,
packaging
you need
together.
to tear that open like it's Christmas and
No,
you're
I-
8 years
I
old and just
engineer- I
enjoy
engineer
it.
the crap out of it, and then I usually
Yeah.
screw it up anyway and
You
don't
can do
get
it later.
And then Raquel sent me these. Where's the boxes? So there's two of these left, and I promised my daughter one, but I don't know if she better eat the damn thing soon because it's on the counter, and I might eat the last.
Just take it.
The last-
Take it. We won't
So
tell
I
on
told
you.
her she had to eat it, but Raquel was so awesome to send me these butter tarts, and they are freaking good. They're like, I don't know how to describe it, like a miniature apple pie goodness, but very, very sweet. Like it's got like a pie consistency to it, and with the nuts in there. And there's like three sticks. There's almonds in there, right? Are they almonds?
Oh,
No.
no, really? Oh.
No,
What's in
pecans
there?
or pecans,
Oh,
depending
worse.
upon where you're from.
Pecans pecan.
Pecans,
And there's like
oh.
three sticks of butter in these suckers.
There are,
So-
yeah. So in Canada, they have a little joke. There's a little meme that if you mixed sex and gold, you would have a butter tart. And of course, these are not the best butter tarts. These are just the ones that are shelf stable that I'm able to get over the border to my
Yeah.
American friends.
You know what they call that here?
What?
Pecan pie.
Oh, no. It's completely different than pecan
Yeah,
pie.
it is
Pecans
different.
in it, right?
One day when Mark D with a C and his beautiful wife come and see me, and I take them to the mountains and I show them Banff and Jasper, I am going to make homemade butter tarts for them. And so, yes, sex and gold. If you mix sex and gold, you have a Canadian butter tart.
So I'm not going to comment on which is better, but these are pretty
So-
damn good. And you see, it says.
Can you make
it
me
says,
some without
it
pecans
says,
in them?
say with the butter. So in French, it says with butter on the bottom.
Oh, yes, because here we have two official languages, so everything is in English and French.
Yeah.
Sorry
And
about
of
that. I
course-
should have warned you.
Can you make
I
me
can't-
some without pecans in them?
Yes, of course I will.
Oh, right.
You don't like the nuts, Globby?
No,
hate
he hates
pecans.
that.
They hate pecans. Okay.
There's
But
only
these are
one of
good
us
in
down
here.
here in Louisiana we hate. I'm the only one in Louisiana that hates pecans.
Isn't that popular down there? Yeah. I can't.
Yeah.
So
read
tell
it.
them how many
Well, they
calories
take 'em off
those
of
ones
trees.
are.
Let me. All right, I got to get the
There are
loop
people with
out.
pecan trees in their front yard. They can't wait for them to
Oh,
drop.
holy calories, Batman! It's 490 calories.
Nice.
Fat 16
all?
grams. Cholesterol
nothing.
60 milligrams. Sodium 11%. Carbs 27%. Do I look like I care? But it's got vitamin A in it, though. Vitamin C. But yeah, it's 490 calories. So yeah, this is so this can be considered like an energy snack if I'm gonna run a marathon. But I really appreciate you going out of the way to send
My absolute
send
pleasure.
these. So yep, that was very.
I wish
very,
I could
very
have sent more, but I went to 3 different stores and that's all they had left. But one day you're going to have fresh butter tarts when you come
Nice.
here. They were invented in Canada. They're a Canadian thing, and I hope you come on up here and have one for breakfast with a coffee, looking out on the mountains in
Nice.
Jasper or Banff one day, and bring your
One day,
gorgeous
yep.
wife with you. We're going to have a great time.
And it was very sweet of you, literally and figuratively, to send these. It's like, these are really sweet and really awesome. So yeah, it was really special of you to send these. And Nicole, if you're listening, you better eat that because I got one left, and you're supposed to eat the other one. If you don't, Dad, you shouldn't eat it, is going to claim it because I don't need the calories.
Yes.
Sure you do.
Yeah.
So those are a tradition here, and people enjoy them at Christmas, at Easter. A lot of people have them for breakfast. They're in every they're at every holiday, and everyone has their own recipe. And
Now, do you make it? Sorry to interrupt. Do you make it as a big pie, like an apple pie you would make, or do you make them as small little tarts? An individual small tart
It's always tarts,
tend.
and sometimes it has currants in it. Sometimes it has raisins in it. Sometimes it has pecans or pecans, and they're just absolutely delicious. And we eat them, like I said, at every holiday. So I hope you enjoy.
Count how many you get. Like the kids would be like, you each get one, or his mom like you get because when you have like a cake, you can always cheat and come back and keep taking other bigger pieces of cake or but
Well,
when you have
speaking of which,
individual
they have
tarts
minis.
Hey, Mando
Yeah.
Mark, good to see you, buddy.
Mando Mark, nice to see you. Yeah, so they have minis. So if you want to get away with just shoving a whole butter tart in your mouth and walking away like you're completely innocent, I can facilitate that when Mrs. D is here. I'll just make sure that you and Andrew have your mini butter tarts in a section where you can just snatch, grab, and walk away as though you're entirely innocent. Good evening, Trevor Cunningham.
Hey, Trevor Cunningham. And Cockney Spock, I promise you, since it is the 40th anniversary, we will make that question happen. I will address it. Finally, I will watch it.
I just weighed in.
We won't weigh in here tonight on that, of course.
Yeah, that would be here
until Mark D had to do it. But
Sorry,
I don't want a 5-hour conversation about that here.
Well, could I take it? I could do this in 1 or 2 bites or 5 hours. This thing was so damn good. It's like you're like, I'm just gonna have half now, and then you're like, another half. Well, it's gone. Like,
wait until you have Nanaimo bars, and wait until you have Alberta beef. You're going to gain so much weight when you come here. I'm going to have to take you for a walk every day.
Yeah,
you and Andrew will have to go for a walk just so that you can get through my supper.
Yeah, we're going to Italy, to visit my son, and the wife said, "You better get back on that exercise bike." And we're doing all these walking tours, and they don't have those fat people scooters like they have at Disney World. You can't get on one of those. So.
Oh no! Did you want to show everyone the fact that you no longer have corn eggs on the bridge?
Oh yeah. Where am I? Where did I put my set? I think I have them in the Enterprise here. Hold on, let me grab them.
I had that. No, I didn't. I think I have that. No, not that one. One different, but it's a PVC one like that. With that thing, thingy you got there. Figure you got there.
That's the PVC lines. If you Google Marvel,
I have a 1990 PVC.
Pose. So that was that set that came out, and it was 1990, and that was one of the first. It's like cool. They started to make stuff now.
Yep.
But, that's the one that rides my dashboard. So.
Nice.
So here's the triples.
I have a micro machined Enterprise hanging from my rearview mirror. So there you go.
So
nice.
let me take them out so we can appreciate them.
Did you read them?
Here's the note says, for your trouble with tribbles, get those corn eggs off my bridge. Raquel, yep. So those were those plastic Playmobil bridge eggs, which aren't so good. Oop, they're falling on the keyboard. So here's the come back. Hey, Tribble, don't roll away here. Don't
all right, Chris Persia.
Try not to feed these.
Good night, honey.
Take
Mwah,
care,
mwah,
buddy. Have a
mwah.
great night, my
Kalinita.
friend. Good to see you, man. Thank you.
Good night, Chris. Yep. Take care. But yeah, these are really cool. And actually, I put them here. Let me stop the camera for 1 second. I'm going to grab something else.
Yep. No. Appreciate that, dude. Well, yeah, I don't know. I had that one there. There we go. What you got? What are you looking for?
Well, because I put them
Oh.
with my Captain Kirk
that's
figure.
great!
So those other triples are really too big. This was an Amazon exclusive. Kirk with the classic uniform, and of course they get the color correct too, which I love on this figure. And
I've got that. I really do.
And those triples are way too big. So I'm like, oh, these triples are perfect. I mean, that's awesome. Yep.
That's exactly what I wanted you to use them for, so that they would all be to scale. That's great.
Yeah. So I should get rid of. What do you think? I should get rid of the really big ones, or just have one or two big ones?
Well, they're kind of like you can paint those pink, and they can be from the animated.
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
yes.
Episode.
Do you want me to send you some penguins from the animated?
Well, you don't
I
have
can.
to, but no. Well, if you ever do another shipment, if you happen to
You
send me
have
butter
penguins?
tarts next week,
Yes.
You do really? Wow. Okay.
so no, but that's and I love that figure too. So I got a couple of those. So yeah, that was another nice touch. I guess you found these they're very tough to find, but you can find these at
They
art
are.
stores.
Yeah, once you find the place that has them, you just eat them all up. So I bought a giant bag of them. And of course, as you know, Mark, I'm just saying this for the folks at home, whomever is listening. But yeah, I make Christmas ornaments, and they're tribbles inside of the Christmas ornaments with printed images of the bridge crew from TOS. So I bought a giant bag.
Nice. Yep. Oh, and let me show. Well, actually, I had the role playing game stuff. Let me grab those. Hold on.
Role playing game.
Dun, 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 dun.
This thing used to take up the whole screen. I'm not sure what to tell to make it do that now. I guess I got to go to the settings. What they change on here?
That's pretty much the whole screen, isn't it? Or no? Well, that's okay. You don't want to.
I guess it
too
is.
big. That's scary.
Oh my god!
So this was from I think this is from the FASA role playing game.
Right.
It's a pewter.
Oh, it's pewter, so don't touch your mouth after you touch it. Obviously, you know that. I shouldn't have said that to you.
Nice.
Sorry, I always forget what you do for a
That's
living.
okay.
Don't touch your mouth.
I'm trying to get there. That's kind of focused.
Too
Yeah.
big to be a space station.
How much lead do you think is in that?
I think this is all pewter in here. So,
You think it's 100% pewter?
well,
Yeah, most of the ones
Let me
from
take
the
a bite.
RPG games are pewter.
yeah, pewter. Yep.
careful.
So this is Nebula One Space Laboratory. FASA 19.
Yeah, role playing.
God, the eyes. I hate my eyes went. But I think it's 1990.
You know how you can test it?
Those are pewter.
Do you know how to live test it? You take a white piece of paper and see if you can draw your name with it. And if you can draw your name with it, it likely has lots of lead in it. So be careful with pewter.
Well, it's too late for me now.
Now kryptonite.
It's too late for me now.
Superman can't see through it. Just that way too.
Yeah.
Who's got the prefix code?
11238, isn't it?
And someone was asking, I think it was Kal-El or someone, about how Spock could do that with the levers on the for a digital code, but maybe it was a binary sequence he was doing. I don't know. But yeah, it's so you'd play the game and you had your pewter figures that you'd buy. This is my favorite one, obviously.
Oh, obviously.
And he'd play the game and you'd go around the board and use these as, this is your 3D simulation, right? So I didn't set up the other camera tonight, but it's pretty detailed. I mean, I got the nice lines on there. Obviously this camera's not that great, but you can see it's the FASA games. You can still buy these on eBay. I have no idea what they cost now, but
No. Just an arm and a leg. Your
I
firstborn.
don't think so, but
No
yeah,
big deal.
yep. But they're it's all it's good, fun stuff.
Hey,
so you
Terry
might as well-
Rose.
so I
Welcome.
had that on the shelf.
Hello
yeah.
there, Terry Rose. Welcome. Good to see you.
So I've tried to cram as much stuff as possible into this 8x8 room or 10x10 room. Can't move. And then once I feed those tribbles, it's all over. So there'll be no room in here.
There'll be no trouble at all. Nice. Well, that's cool stuff, dude. Love it.
Thank you. Well,
Very
thank you, Raquel.
cool.
Yep, thanks again.
Yeah, yeah. He is, like you say, Eric K. He is DC's toy man. He's a villain. He is.
Yeah, good thing I'm on your side. Yeah, thank you, Erica. Yep. So yep, it's all fun, and I got to keep pulling out. I got to catch up on my videos and going through all the toys in the attic and
More enabling.
Yep.
enabling. And there was a Captain America sale that I forgot to get a video out on. That was a poster. Well, it was new artwork. It was movie artwork, but it was pretty gorgeous. The on Mondo had a great gorgeous posters. But it sold out in like 2 seconds. Had some friends that were trying to get them. It was like, boom, they're gone. So, but
Damn.
yeah.
Well, wow. That's pretty cool stuff there, bro. Love
Thank
Well,
you,
guys,
thank
I have to scoot because I have to get up really early in the morning, and we're just passing the 2-hour mark. So I absolutely hate to leave, but I have to because I have to get up so early in the morning.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Well, everyone, I want to thank you all for being here tonight. Please, of course, before we get out of here, Raquel, oops, I got to put the link in. While I'm putting the link, finding your link, please, Andy Masterson. Hey there, what's up?
Hey!
Please
Hey,
put
Andy.
your please tell everyone about your works, where they can find them.
I'm selling some science fiction short stories. I'm selling them individually on Amazon. If you like the Twilight Zone, if you like Philip K. Dick, especially if you like Edgar Allan Poe, you might like my stories, and I would really appreciate your support. All you have to do is go on Amazon and look up R.M. Briggs, and I appreciate your support. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you so much. Let's see here. Mark, let's get your or you can get your page up there.
Sure.
What's
I
got
guess
going on?
Eric's here. He just posted it. But yep.
Oh,
So
there
of
you go.
course, yep. Eric, yeah, just Eric's got that covered. I'm sure. Yep.
He's the
Thank
best.
you, Eric. Yeah. So I've been kind of lax on my videos, other than Sunday Night Geekery. So I gotta stop slacking off. But I've been on Toxic Tuesday, so I'm a regular panelist there now. So next week we're doing The Warriors, and that's on Nick Weiser's channel. 32 Flavors. Nick Weiser stepped in.
Come out to play.
Yeah.
I
So
might
gotta-
join you. I don't know. I might join you.
So
I'm
I got a clip.
100% going to lurk on that one.
I love
So
that movie.
I got to clip that clip. I know we try to avoid playing videos on Nick's. We don't want to get in too much trouble, but
Warriors.
we got to clip that one. So,
Do you have the comic book version?
no, I don't
Not
have
a comic book. No. No, it's not a comic.
What
Now,
is it?
Walter Hill made a special version because he originally wanted to make it where he cut from every scene, where each cut turned the character into a comic book
Oh,
drawing
wow.
before he cut to the next scene, and he couldn't have the budget to do it. And so he did it in the special edition. I didn't even know he'd done it. I just bought this because I saw it on Blu-ray one time.
Wow.
And all of his cuts are you use his comic book art, which is
Wow,
kind of
that's
weird.
cool.
I'm not sure it should have been in the movie that way, but it was interesting. Anyway, so
Well, it's fun
The
to
Warriors.
fun
I
to
love
see,
that movie, though. I love that movie.
Yep.
I didn't know
and,
you'd seen that movie, Raquel.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like the old stuff. I think it's good. And especially if there's a minimal Raquel covering her eyes due to gore, blood, and violence. So if there's minimal hand blocking on my part, I imbibe and continue to imbibe. And that is a great movie. It's a great movie. I
When
love
did
it.
that come out? Was that 70s?
79-ish, something like that.
Yeah.
I love it. Yep,
I
love it,
saw
love
it
it,
when
love
it
it.
first came out. And I think I've watched it 2, 3, maybe 4 times since then. I love that movie.
Indeed,
Yeah, so that'll be fun, and then just look for videos during the week, and always appreciate the sub and the like, and you guys. It's always fun to be here, and had a great time as usual. And send more butter tarts, please.
Okay, I will.
No, just kidding. Yep.
I don't mind at all.
Monday night, we're the continuing of the CLOBBERIN Classic Comics Review with our great chief engineer, I should say, for Mark D with a C, will be joining me to review the classic Marvel 2-in-1 Annual number 7. So,
Looking forward to that.
Looking forward to it. Going to be reviewing a couple of classic comics every month, and got a lot of great ones set up to be reviewed with the
Look at
different
these beautiful posters
guests
you
and stuff.
make. I love
Nice
you,
job,
Clobby.
yeah.
Yeah,
Nice job,
like
yeah.
seriously.
It sucks. I know it sucks. You don't have to.
No,
It
that's
doesn't
awesome.
suck.
But you know what? I went
That's
backwards.
the greatest comic ever, I think. So
It's a great comic. But I went backwards. I forgot that Saturday night, everyone. Saturday night Star Trek. 4 more episodes. And that, too. Yep.
wow,
That's
these
the
are
best
big
part.
episodes.
Yeah, big episodes for you. I'm just having such a great time on Saturday night, so we thank you all.
Looking forward to that one.
2 weeks from now, just about, on Wednesday, listen to me about September, February the 9th, it'll be the 1,000th episodes celebration. Yes.
And the crowd goes well.
We gotta send you a thing cake.
That would be nice.
Hey,
1,000
can we do
episodes of
that?
Club. No, you can't. 1,000 episodes of Clobbering Time celebrating that Wednesday. And
And for you regulars around here, Clobby must be tired, so I'll correct him. Wednesday.
Yes, Wednesday. That's what I meant to say.
Wednesday.
Are we Reverie? It's Wednesday.
I didn't make the spelling. They did. I just pronounce it properly. So there.
Some of us look forward to your little jokes, you know. We love your jokes.
I was. I just totally boom, it escaped me. I didn't do it.
Imagine the thing popping out of a cake.
Imagine a hot chick with orange paint jumping out of a cake. It'd just be like,
You went there, not me.
No, I don't need any of those two things. I just want the hot chick will do. It doesn't have to be hot.
Popping out of a butter tart.
I don't need her painted either. So,
I don't need her painted either.
no. But this is the thought that counts. Thank you all so much for being here with us tonight.
No she thing.
Really appreciate. No sheet thing. I can't. I don't
Thank
like,
you,
don't
man.
how I feel about the sheet thing. So, everyone, I look forward to seeing you Saturday night Star Trek, Monday night Mark C Comics Talk, and of course, there may be a Sunday night Geekery if he's still doing it for Mark's channel.
Yeah.
Oh, yep, there will be. Yep, there will be. Yep. Sorry, I forgot to mention that. Thank you.
There we go. 10.
Yeah,
that would
was
be
here Sunday night.
10
Yep,
p.m. Central for that one, 11 Eastern. So good
11
night,
Eastern,
everybody, and as always, kudos to our wonderful, beautiful first officer, RM Raquel Briggs, Commander Raquel Briggs, for this spiffy intro, outro, and a big shout out, a round of applause, everyone, for our chief engineer as well. Thank you all. Clobber on, clobberers.